All right, welcome back to Series E. We got the lobby reset, and we are straight into the thick of things. Atlanta Premier off the 50-50 up the rip here, and it looks like they're going to get the first knock. That's Team Nerf going down initially, and we're already down to 18 squads here, Tom.
Yeah, two 50-50s off the rip. Got a 50-50 that happened between Sentinels and TSM. Verholz clutching it out with 10 HP. Thank you, Yeso, for that info. But now ASR starting to move in. Love that window angle coming through from Albarelli. And how is this player alive? Nice shots and nice plays. It's interesting to also see him busting out the Watson, something we haven't seen in Series Z from him, or just in general ever.
Yeah, Muffins and Luxford down in this fight as well. And so we're about to be down to 17th. Complexity are now out. Here we are at 17 squads. So it seems like a lot of teams just kind of changing up their drop spots here as we get our first look at the ring. Pulling up towards Epicenter now. I'll be surprised if this ends up being an Epicenter ending. I'm expecting more towards that bridge to the northeast between them and Climatizer. And Cloud9, though, a squad that typically wants to try and find some fights on the edges. I don't know how exactly they're going to manage this one, but we are now starting to get the rotates out. TSM down at Lava Siphon. That is such an interesting one. But yeah, Esports Arena now making the rotation up. They are trying to get center zone as quickly as possible with this Crypto Watson composition. And with it pulling towards Epicenter, they can really play that sniper post extremely well.
It's so interesting just to watch the amount of Watsons that are coming into play, and it's really interesting to see what everyone decides to run with it, right? Now, Clean, he's been rocking Crypto for quite some time now. It's awesome to see players like Albarelli bring that in. And, ooh, nice little purple armor right there for Fury. But I completely agree. They're going to be in a great position just to continue to lock things down over here. And it's funny to see TSM switch things up and say, hey, we've been landing Frag East for a really long time. The rotations from Lava Siphon aren't going to be much different. And the loot at Lava Siphon is absolutely ridiculous. So going for a spot that is going to give them better armors, better weapon choices, etc. You know, you're not even getting a crafter over towards Fragment East. You never know if you're even going to get the beacon that's spawning over there. So Lava Siphon, a much stronger POI, and watching that fight for Sentinels is going to be so exciting.
Yeah, it's just so interesting just because, you know, a lot of people used to herald Sentinels as one of the best teams in the world. Hold on just a moment. Team Esports Arena on their rotate into Epicenter. End up losing out on Fury. And up top, unfortunately enough. And he's really their only option. Actually, no, never mind. They've got Claim. They've got a drone. So they can actually get up there, pick up that banner, and get him res back on up. But I don't know if that drone's going to be able to get in to pick that one up. So it's just really unfortunate. Team Esports Arena did have that idea of trying to play that sniper post. And unfortunately, they got beat out in terms of priority for it.
Tough rotation coming forward right there, but I do think that they're going to try to find a spot to do that, and that's exactly what Clayton's doing. Phony's going to go and hit the cover over here, probably set some fences at the top of the zip line. Great teamwork coming in from Esports Arena to try to get Fury back in on this one. Problem is, lose out on that purple armor, lose out on a lot of your loot pool overall, and setting up inside of the zone for a res, always very difficult. Could create a huge domino chain reaction. Third, fourth parties coming in over towards the ASR side. They're making the rotation in as well, and they already got their early points, so they're trying to set up with the Newcastle, get the gens down if you're Albarelli, give you some extra charges on your fences. And it's weird to see such a strong Newcastle player like Albarelli go and toss that one on over towards Slurpee G, so he must be feeling really confident on Watson.
No, I think, you know, having someone that's strong to be able to play quite possibly, I'm imagining G7 Scout 3030 for Slurpee G to try and get the long-range snipes. That's why they've got that interception pylon down so early. First, of course, for Albarelli to build up the security perimeter and then also build up another ultimate, but also for them to now start trading away and start building up those evil shields for themselves because they are starting to play heavy inside the center zone for Rack Attack. It's hard to tell who these players are. Donald Duck, Battle Frog. Why are you guys doing this to us? They've got control over the engineering shop here with that beacon on top of it as well. So they can play this one for quite some time and relatively safely. They've got the Gibraltars, so the scans are going to be basically free for them. So it's great to see that, you know, this old meta composition isn't quite dead yet.
We definitely know Rakanushu's on this team, and he's most likely Donald Duck. That's my guess. We know that he's a really nasty Gibby, But who's the other player, the mystery player? We'll have to go and take a look at our notes on that one, Jamerson, or maybe someone in the chat could help us out. That's one of the fans of the Rack Attack. But they're right next to NRG, setting up with new member Gilderson over here, and they got that composition that we were talking about in terms of what the strongest 3 legends currently are. It's it's debatable on which legends are the strongest, but in terms of offering the most to your team, even with the nerfs, Valkyrie still really strong. Seer, extremely strong. TSM has not even left Lava Siphon yet, so talk about waiting and claiming your POI, Jamerson. They may not even leave the POI. They may just die here.
No, this is important because, like, TSM, when we first knew TSM, they were the rotation kings. They were the guys that played the macro, that were the first to center zone. But now, of course, changing things up, they are leaving themselves a bit more open to playing on edge. And the fact that they took the 50-50 means they're going to lose out on priority on teams around them. There were already maybe 4 or 5 teams that could get to Epicenter with priority on the rotate, but then being slowed down by that 50-50 that they ended up taking, you end up losing out priority on about 3 or 4 more other squads. So yeah, they might as well just take their time here, maybe find another edge. Maybe there's a slow team rotating in from the south side from launch side or such. But it looks like NRG were actually able to bully away now, and now they have access to this beacon scan for themselves.
I don't know, this beacon scan seems a little scary. I mean, Nathan's up there checking it out and stuff, but that's the point of the beacon scan, right? Everyone's just like, oh, they're going to scan. Don't look at them. Don't look at them. All of a sudden, boom, 3, 2, 1, you're donezo. So Nathan's going to probably try to body block over here. Great job pulling up the map over here from our OBS team. Get an opportunity to see who's all in the zone and who's going to be struggling to get in. Look at that north side, northwest over there where Tyson and Vizio are, ASR, Razor with a lot of kill opportunities, CLG with a lot of kill opportunities as well.
Yeah, basically what we were expecting out of this ring pull, not for it to actually go into Epicenter. I feel like those Epicenter rings are actually quite rare. Something about this open ground between Epicenter and Overlook seems to have a very strong pull on the ring. Speaking of late rotations, TSM are still kind of hovering around. You actually spot out a squad coming out from Fragment East now. And so they might be rewarded for this slow rotate if they want to take the fight. They've already got the +3 up against Sentinels. They could try and find another one here.
Nice shots there with the 1-2 on the scout, which is not a sight that you're looking forward to using, but you're going to take it. And now with this type of composition, you're looking to take fights. Hal with the shots, the turbocharged Havoc, and the scout in his back pocket. Interesting to see them rocking double scout over here, but this is what this composition really specializes in. You get the scans, you get the seer ult going down. Everybody knows that you can just push in and go for the kills, and Reps is going to start off big time with the PK.
Yeah, Rack Attack are trying their best to turtle up right now with the caustic gas, and it is slowing them down. Bubble has been used, so they might have been able to get the bubble res. No, not quite yet. And so Valkyrie's still bleeding out, and Reps is just waiting this one out. Arcstar in onto the downed player, and now you got Imperial Hal pushing up with Reps throughout this Thor to 88 crack. That's going to be the Gibraltar going down. Now TSM on the verge of picking up their 6th kill point here so early on in the game.
And you're just delaying the inevitable at that point, and hopefully another team comes in third party TSM. That's the only way you would go and get that one. And the third party is coming. It's just a little bit late. It's Atlanta Premier. They didn't see any knocks, though, so they know that this is still a straight-up 3v3 as Protectful gets eliminated from Kimchi Lee. But great infiltration coming in from TSM again. That's what that composition really specializes in. They want to take those fights. Yeah, Caustic is good in holding buildings, but when you got Reps hitting with the PK like that, there is zero chance. But I love Reps on an aggressive legend like that. He's been stuck on these defensive characters far too long. Now it's an opportunity for TSM to play aggressive. Great start for them already with 6 kill points.
Renegades in a fight up against Team Esports Arena. Intel actually involved in this one as well, coming in for the third party. Oxygen's Oi Senpai ends up getting the knock from the long range. So a lot of teams involved here. I don't know if they can quite push it yet. Team Intel are stuck at the bottom of this ravine. So you really don't want to try and leave this train because you can easily get yourself caught out. IC does have that bubble though, but it looks like just the pressure is there from the nades. So that's going to put a stop to Team Intel from trying to chase after more here. We are now down to 15 squads, 43 players left. So it's not as fast of a gameplay that we have been seeing out of our Seer meta for the past month and a half or so. Team Intel not running the Seer themselves, though. They do have that Loba, so that's going to allow them actually to pick up some of this free loot off of that third party they were able to pick up.
It's just interesting, though, because there's not as many Seers as I was expecting. And TSM's mopped 2 out of these 5 teams. So looking at Excedrin, what they're playing, this is another very, very interesting comp that's popular in rank. The double scan meta coming in with Horizon. It's tough, though, if you're not able to get those Valkyrie rotations. So, again, you are definitely looking for fights over here. They've already picked up a couple of kills along the way. Kim Chi Lee being one of those players. But here's another fight for TSM. And let's see if they can take another team down that's camping inside of a building.
And last time we saw them here in Fragment East, it was Atlanta Premier that were looking for the third party, and they might be regretting it already. You can see the HP bars from that Seer, allowing them all that information. Slid on his Verhulst, but he's able to back away, and Hal ends up getting the knock onto 2. It is Atlanta Premier about to get finished off, but they've got to be careful just in case Mike and Ike were looking for the third party here. MJ getting cracked down. Atlanta Premier are knocked out. Mar is on this Ash to give him the phase breach, and MJ desperately needs it here. He's been cracked, and he's trying to reconnect with his squad. They won't be able to back out, but you can see how dangerous TSM have been. G2 also patrolling the streets of Capital, or well, old Capital here, but they're not going to get involved into this one. G2 have not been able to find much at all this game. They're at least sitting on some pretty armors. They got the purples across the ways, and you know, G2, if they can make to the late game with the armors, with the loot that they want, this is going to be an extremely dangerous squad. Resulta as that G7 scout, basically almost golded out. You have to imagine Designful probably rocking that wingman. Now they're creeping up. They're trying not to make any noise. Maybe they're afraid there's a team above them. Designful should be able to spot that out with his passive.
And then all of a sudden a scan comes in and it's over for them. But yeah, they're just planning on hitting a fat Q over here. Chaotic most likely has his ultimate. There's some shots going on in the vicinity too, so this could be an opportunity to fly up there and maybe hit a third party, as Alberly is most likely calling it quits on over towards where they were previously holding. Sweet gets a knock right there onto Reptar, and this is not looking good for ASR. You want to get inside the zone. You want to set up. They never had that opportunity. Mike and Ike with the rotation now, and they unfortunately don't have a Watson in type of defensive setup, so they need to get out of that trailer ASAP, and then that's the push that G2's been waiting for. They're going to capitalize and come in and take down NRG from behind.
Yeah, this is a third party onto NRG. They are being slowed down just a little bit by the Watson traps, and we have the exhibit up for that Seer, but it should be going down fairly shortly here. We'll see. Designful doesn't quite have an angle on it to clear it, but they at least secure that first onto 1. Nathan falling, and so now NRG are just down to 1. Razor involved in this fight, but they've got that Newcastle res to get Boxa T back on up as they back away. Blake Q taking a little bit of ring damage, so does Boxa T, and now comes in a flank. Sang's got to be careful here as the castle wall is set down from Blake from behind, though. Oxy Aries ends up getting the knock here. Sweet trying his best to rat it out for NRG, but he's basically stuck inside of a fishbowl here at the bottom. G2 now coming in for the flank onto Oxy Aries. Now Team Tyson about to fall. It's just dominoes being set down as Tyson will go down in 13th place.
Good timing there from G2. Nice follow-up shots there from Designful with the wingman, and result of flying in with the close range controller. Just absolute decimating the teams that were fighting over towards Epicenter. You were not really anticipating that, but Verhulst started this game off hot with their 50-50 going up against Sentinels. He's continuing to heat up, and I love the way that TSM's been playing this. TSM's gone through a lot of just like mini changes throughout all of Apex, but starting off going over towards Lava Siphon after the Fragment East nerfs, etc., could be one of the best minor changes that they've ever made, and I'm so stoked to see what they're going to be able to do with that.
And also, you know, TSM have never been strangers to trying out different compositions, or at least putting people on different legends. I think Hal on Seer is probably one of the scariest things. When your IGL, especially your micro IGL in fights, is able to get the information from those scans, from the heartbeat sensor as well, it just makes him incredibly powerful. He's already one of those players that are just incredibly plugged in when it comes to making these calls, and now he just has perfect information in these fights. Team Excedrin playing out of that perfect information. They're going to go ahead and set up an exhibit of their own. You got the push out from this squad. Oxygen ends up getting eliminated finally by Team Intel, and now we have hit top 10, and now it might be top 9 as Excedrin are about to get into this fight.
G2 continuing to put the pressure on. This time they're hunting down Mike and Ike. They're right on the edge of the zone. Chaotic needs to be able to stay alive here. Huge nade out of nowhere coming in for Sang, and G2 getting dropped, virtually saving Mike and Ike, but Mike and Ike gets dropped immediately after that. Meanwhile, Reps getting dropped as well. Intel gets eliminated. Jamerson, the kill feed just went insane.
Yeah, I was talking about, hey, it might be top 9. No, it is top 5. Vizio have been knocked out here as Cloud9 are just breathing in the gas. Zach Mason might actually just fall to the gas here. Never mind. It will finally go away just in time. Cloud9 trying their best to stabilize here. Renegades, if they had the Seer Q, if they tag it on to Cloud9, they can just full send it. Here we go. They get the information. But Cloud9 have been able to heal up enough where Renegades just cannot push off of this. It's our final 4 squads. It's going to be a 3v3, v3, v2, with, I believe, Razor as the only 2-man in this lobby here. And we are getting a fairly typical epicenter bridge circle, but this one is actually pulling down a little bit more south than we're used to.
Got to give credit to, obviously, TSM for the way that they've played this one, but also Razor as a duo. They've been doing a pretty good job overall. Now C9 kind of stuck down in no man's land. You can see they're the furthest team away from the zone, so Renegades has to rotate with them. TSM's got the high ground over across and just waiting for these other teams to go and push in. But it looks like in terms of who has the advantage, it's by far TSM. They have this kind of triple setup where they have a triangle going on. Razor as a duo over to the left really isn't going to be a major concern. And then you know that these two teams, Renegades and C9, have to deal with each other. This should be a TSM win.
Yeah, they do have that crossfire setup. You can see how far Reps is. He's still, you know, kind of defaulting back to just playing an anchor for his squad at times, as it looks like the full send is coming out. C9 trying to push on to Yuban and company, but Yuban's already taken out one, and so now TSM are just watching on. They already have plenty of kill points. They're not in any real rush to get anything else here. As you can see, all of the teams are just kind of collapsing on each other, and so TSM is the last one to collapse, and that's typically what you're looking for. You're looking to come in for the third party. Cloud9 out in 4th place as Verhulst gets the knock on to Yuban, and there it is. Reps takes him out. It's our final 2 teams remaining, and Razor secure the top 2, but they have to fight into a 3v2 versus TSM. TSM pushing forward. Verhulst getting a little bit lost there, but it's okay. Reps is into the thick of things,
Wow.
and TSM starts off the night with a massive victory.
Huge dub. And if you're Sentinels watching that after you lose that 50-50, you're like, man, I think it's time to switch POIs, because I don't think you want to continue to contest TSM. Maybe today, for fun, is way before it even happens. The circle knowledge, etc., etc. Storm point zones are easier to kind of pick, but here we go. Game number 2. Excited to see what happens over towards Lava Siphon. We have 2 50-50s in game number 1, kind of anticipating the same thing as we jump on board with TSM here very shortly.
I am keeping an eye on that dropship right now. TSM have already left it, and I'm seeing if Sentinels, yep, they are basically flying stacked on top of each other. TSM, for a team now dropping over at Lava Siphon, there are a lot of things you need to learn, and one of the most important ones, especially off the 50-50, is to play as together as a team. There's the armor swap, 2 members dropping onto Howl, and he's done a lot of damage, but Verhulst is here with the PK himself to trade back. I don't know if Crust actually has a gun for himself. There's a blue armor that he has to deal with. Now Rep's coming in. He's got the Prowler. He's got a Sentinel as well. Not quite what you want there, but the Sentinel can still maybe get the 1-tap at the end. Lou now backing off, trying to find anything. They do have a bat at the very least. So TSM versus Sentinels currently at a 2v2.
Shocked they haven't gone for the res yet onto Hal, but that's a great start for Sentinels considering the fact that they had double PKs in the hands, and now they're going to go and try to take the high ground over here. PK Mozambique, though, that's not an ideal situation. Plus, that armor's already broken. Nice shots there coming in from Brols. Reps is going to have to follow this damage up, but this is so exciting to watch. Hal just has to sit there on the ground and make callouts to his team, but hello, take it to the sky over here. The great thing is they've already got the knock and the thirst. So yes, they could hit the res onto Hal, or they could fake it. Looks like they're going to go for the full res, and now they have a 3v2 advantage.
Yeah, and before, even when he was on the ground, it's still a 2.5 versus 2, right? Because he's able to ping, he's able to block doors. There are important things when it comes to these 50-50 fights. Right now, Lou has run out of heals. He's down to about 55 HP with that purple armor. There's a blue swap at the very least inside. They might have already used it throughout all of this. Hal is going to have the slow heal as it looks like that complexity versus ASR fight still taking place. It might be ending very shortly here, but TSM still not able to hunt down the rest of Sentinels. But again, you can count this one. You can chalk this up as a victory for TSM.
Probably going to be a banner snag situation. Once you run out of heals, you're like, all right, respect. You guys did get this one. They did get the better of them right there. Had to be a little bit frustrating, though, when you have the PK and you end up getting kicked out by a Horizon. It wasn't even a punch. It was the flying kick to the forehead, as Luxford's going to have to be careful over here. Complexity does have their full 3-man squad, but they have to be very aware of where these players are without having a scan legend. So sticking together over here, trying to find the last player, which is Slurpee G on top of the train station. ASR going out to the hands of Complexity. They're the first team eliminated.
Yeah, this is unfortunate, you know, for a new roster that are trying to figure things out, having to deal with a Complexity squad right now, and it's just taking the 50-50s early on. So not actually getting to play the game in a very standard fashion. NRG, though, playing the standard fashion of this composition as they are looking for the fights on the edges right now. They do have a team ahead of them just outside of Landslide. Nathan already using that gravity lift will have that singularity up at the same time in just a short moment here, so they can try to follow that one up. They have hit for Flash, and now they're going to continue to chase. We'll see. We've got 5 more seconds or so before Nathan can go ahead and take to the skies and drop down that singularity, but they have already caught up, and Vizio have been sandwiched as well. Atlanta Premier coming out from Countdown, stealing away one of those kills onto Team Vizio. So that's going to be our first squad down. We're now down to 19. So it looks like CLG are cleaning up some members of Renegades.
G2's going for the play. I like this aggressive push, but hello to the EVA 8. We know how strong that is after the changes. The 2-4 chaotic specialty on that R301 with the armor swaps on the ground and Renegades going out. You do not want to mess with G2 over towards Thermal Station. It looks like they will most likely hold this high ground too. So I'm curious if results are designed to have a scout in their back pocket.
They've gotten better about playing these thermal station circles, and more often than not, they default to playing this position. The last time I caught to talk to Designful about it is that he typically doesn't like this spot, but they've learned that they just have to play a little bit more conservatively. Like round 1, round 2, round 3, don't even peek, don't even go for shots, only go for defensive. But now, they've got 3 loot boxes of ammunition, heals, throwables, all this utility that they can actually play off of. So this is an extremely dangerous position now for G2. We do seem to have a fight, though. Team Tyson versus NRG at Landslide. And NRG already have the opening there. Cracking one, about to crack one more as they give chase.
This is third-party Central, though, so you have to end this fight fast, and that's how you do it right there with the shots from Guild. Gonna go with the battery, his final battery, but having that gold armor, not that big of a deal. His Sweet's going to heal as well. Shocked they weren't able to get that finish after that initial damage. 527 damage this early into the game, mainly with that wingman coming through. Such an unforgiving gun if you're not able to hit your shots. The Seer ultimate does go down, but it looks like they are not able to get any scans on where these players are, and that's probably why they ran away.
Yeah, the Newcastle was the lone player stuck up on that high ground, ends up using the Newcastle ultimate, the castle walls, just to reconnect with the squad, make it over to the vault tunnel, and then back away. For NRG, though, this is just a positional win for them. They do have now access to the replicator as TSM. End up getting into another fight here. This is going to be a full squad, though, as they now hunt them down. Big spray down from Hal here. He hits for Flesh, and he's going to chase after it a little bit more. There's the knock on Tukubsky, protectful gone as well. And oh my goodness. This is a scary TSM.
Oxygen's like, well, we can't rotate through Lava Siphon now. and like you said, this has implications for the rest of, the ALGS, because you switch this up and you play like this. This is what Sentinels used to do. They would take Sorting Factory and they would wait for teams to rotate towards them and just dominate them. You have to understand, this is what TSM's going to do. You have to go around Lava Siphon, and I guarantee as soon as you start going around Lava Siphon, they're going to be like, all right, well, we're going to find where you end up going towards and where you like to go and rotate towards. Now they have another opportunity to possibly hunt down Team Intel. There's 2 more teams over towards the Geyser side, and you can see why they picked this POI and why it's important to hang around. A lot of teams have to siphon through Lava Siphon just to get to where the zones are going to be.
And I feel like with how often it seems like we end up getting southern zones as well, it just ends up working out in TSM's favor. They can play center zone if they want to, and they're a squad when it comes to playing center zone, they're incredibly strong. Hold on just a moment. Vizio, though, out in the open, as it looks like Rack Attack are on top of them. They gotta hit those medkits, though. Oh, I don't even know if he gets the syringe off. It's so close. He doesn't. Oh, no. Rack Attack, okay.
I was kind of
gotta
hoping
hope
they
that
all went one by one right there. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I never root against teams, but how funny would that have been? Just like, doop, doop,
and Atlanta Premier are here too. They're looking to gatekeep. I mean, it looks like they will just go ahead and back away, but they had a huge opportunity to actually pick up some free kill points up against Rack Attack, but they didn't know it. We might have a small engagement here over at staging, as Nerf already ends up getting one knock, now pushing out on to that Watson. That'll be the knock onto Oxy Aries, and it looks like Team Tyson ends up running into Nerf as they were trying to get away from NRG. So now down to just as a solo, we still have multiple fights taking place. G2 ends up getting a knock onto CLG. Can they follow up with it? It was a longbow knock from on top of the tower here, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for them.
Nice to see Designful rocking the Scout too. We were curious to see if they did have some sort of long-range weapon, and if you're going to hold up there, it's almost a necessity to be able to rock that. But when you take a look at C9, they have the Scout as well. It's something that Naughty is very, very solid with. Going to go with the Volt in the back pocket as well. They do have Rocker on Bloodhound, which is interesting because Naughty's a very respectable Bloodhound as well, but it's been kind of popular, and I wonder why. But having your controller player on Valkyrie seems to kind of be the flavor for the teams, and it's nice to see C9 coming through with this new roster and getting some momentum here, not only in game number 1, getting towards the end zone, but here in game number 2 with a couple of kill points.
Yeah, I mean, just giving them the options to play a little bit more vertical, set up angles for themselves to get that one spray or the one clip spray down onto a player is just so strong. And it allows the flexibility on the other side for the rest of the team. At this point, those Sentinels, they're actually still alive right now. Lou and Crust are up, but they have never been able to recover Senox. So they will be playing this one out as a duo. I believe, quite possibly, Intel are right now ratting this one out, which accounts for a few more of the players currently missing. There's 4 not in the lobby right now. Oh yeah, ESA actually started off as a duo as well. But for Cloud9, they've got another team in their sights as they charge forward on to that respawn building house. Naughty can actually just play out the door here and get huge damage down. We've got the Singularity coming in as well from that other squad just to try and stop them, but it doesn't even matter. Mike and Ike fall, 2 of them down. That's Mike and Ike out. C9 just demolish them in this fight here on the edge.
It is disheartening when you're inside of a building, you're playing, and all of a sudden a team just pushes you like that, and the double scan composition, no Horizon right there. You think maybe the Horizon Ultimate's going to be able to do something. I think he really wants you to pick up that gold helmet. I'm just curious if there was an enemy there or if he really wanted you to grab that helmet.
They need to get that Bloodhound ult up as quickly as possible if they want to carry off this momentum. Round 2 closing, and we are now down to 15 squads, just 10 more seconds as NRG ends up spotting out a squad coming into Harvester right now. The Rampage out here for Nathan. Does get some decent damage off, and it looks like they do want to try and chase after this one. You can see Gilderson's and Sweet leading the charge here, pushing up into the center of Harvester. If they don't find the fight, that's okay, because they will then have priority on this Replicator at the very least, but it definitely smells like that they are actually chasing after the kills.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and you're still able to craft inside of this zone as Sweet's going to go and gather that information, getting the heartbeats through the wall, and now he's looking for some more. Actually doesn't find any right there, but now Nathan's going to follow up, take the entry frag over here. Maybe they went on over towards the height. It looks like that's what he's considering as well. It's nice shots there with the Scout and Lou. It's, you know, it's just not Sentinel's day, Jamerson.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the Sen 10Ls days. So far, and we're only 2 games into the series here as they're trying their best to try and back off, but NRG, they can smell it. They know that it's just 1 solo remaining here. This Q just narrowly missing out, and NRG are just desperately chasing after this one. Sentinels will be knocked out, though. We are down to 14. Now NRG, they might be in an awkward position here. I want to know where TSM are at on this rotation. I want to see how they end up playing this ring when it comes to it, and they're going to be playing this high ground angle between Tree and Thermal. which is a very strong spot if you are playing off the edge. They got Excedrin in their sights, and oh my goodness, Imperial Howl with that R301. If he ended up having a purple mag or something, that could have been a knock.
Yeah, nice shots there from Hal, but you have to also watch your back here, and that's what they're thinking. You know, peppering those players, that's not a kill opportunity unless you get the knock. So going through and constantly checking with your scans, love to see Hal going and playing on this Seer and what he's able to do. Again, there's so many different styles that you could play with this, and because you add Valkyrie into this composition, you could sit on the edge, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're out of there, skyward dive into where you need to be. Not looking good for Jet, though, and I'm not quite sure if he has any heals either, if he's just trying to avoid any type of sound going forward, but Energy looks like they're on the hunt.
Yeah, NRG are the rat hunters at this point. They are the exterminators, as we do have them jumping up. Oh, they got to be careful. I'm wondering if this is TSM. We did see them here a little bit earlier on, and NRG might have been able to catch them off guard. It is. It's Reps, the first one to fall. Now TSM are scrambling. It's caught up out in the center here as Verholz will go down, and our 30 bomb team ends up going down in 14th place. Really not picking up much. Excedrin was on the other side of this fight as the scan comes out now. They still have that Beast and Hunts ready to get another scan in, but what a beautiful arc star. Kodagami didn't even see it coming as he was colorblind in that regard. NRG just sweeping through here and cleaning out the rest of this lobby here on the top side. Excedrin knocked out.
Great black hole there from Nathan, and it was interesting to see nobody shoot that ultimate, but the third party coming in for C9, well timed from them. We know we were rocking the double scan, so they should be able to clean this one up. The wingman shots are connecting, but Naughty hitting with that volt, and it's all but over for NRG. They go out in 12th place, the third, the fourth party. It started with TSM going down, now CLG entering as well.
All right, Demi, where is the EMP? He should be getting it ready, but Nano's getting tagged from so far behind. This is all the way on the north side of Thermal, and that's so unfortunate. If Nano didn't get tagged there, they're going to go ahead and full send it. Demi is trying to pop an ultimate excel throughout all of this to set up for the EMP. Nox Gas Grenade should be going down as Mamba gets that first knock onto Naughty. There it is, the Nox Gas Grenade to try and retake height after they hit up this bat. That exhibit should be running out fairly shortly as Nano tries to find the flank on the right-hand side. The EMP has connected, and there is a knock onto Rocker, bringing it down to 1 for Cloud9. Now CLG, after they clean this one up, they need to reset quickly. They've got a minute before the zone starts closing in, but maybe the party ends here.
Wonder if they're gonna have enough loot after all of that. Just you know, that's I'm so concerned for them that they're not gonna have enough loot after 5 teams just died over there. Esports Arena, they've been playing this game out as a duo. They're gonna switch their composition based off of that. Hopefully they get all 3 coming through. We knew that this was the case when the game started, so nice to see them still alive. And well, we know Razor popped off after their third, ended up dying early in game number 1, so maybe they can do their best Razor impression, as G2 has not left this position quite yet, and that's what you're looking for if you're Designful. The third party with the scout, the knock, and the flush, and ESA. Unfortunately for them, they're going to go down, and now Resulta with the longbow from downtown. This is what you'd love to see from G2.
This is the thing, like, this is a huge season for G2. G7 Scout is back in the floor loot, so it's more reliable for them to pick up, which is in the past where you see them absolutely fry. We know Designful for having, you know, one of the scariest controller wingmans, but he is also one of the scariest G7 scouts in the game, and he is showing why. With this dominant position, the ring still pulling their way as well. They picked up a few kill points here or there. He's already done 1,200 damage so far. Got himself the red Evo. Should be swapping off with Resulta to get himself 1 more red Evo here. And again, it all comes down to taking that early fight, contesting over this sniper tower early on, having the extra loot boxes, and now they get to do this. The longbow for Resulta, never mind.
Wow.
He's going to get an Evo shield for himself. Intel finally getting knocked out. Tyson end up going down as well.
Those were some great shots from long range. I mean, results of making that look easy. Those are not easy shots, and also great job leading from Designful. I mean, granted, you know, if you're another pro player, you're probably watching this and be like, well, these guys aren't really looking at you, but you know, a couple of whiffs on these, and you know, you're not getting these kill opportunities. You're not getting your Evo shield charged up to red. You have to capitalize on this while you can. 1,200 damage, only 1 kill for Resulta, but this is an area, again, without these weapons, without the longbow and the scout, it's almost useless sitting up here. So you have to get those 2 weapons. You have to hit your shots, or you have to have some sort of long range, whether that's the 30-30, another type of sniper rifle, even charge rifle, even though I would hate to see anyone use the charge rifle today in Pro Night.
I'm sorry, Tom. I saw a little bit of the stream last night. Valkyrie go for information on the skyward dive, and then all of a sudden 5 charge rifles beam you out.
Oh, yeah. You saw that? Oh, no.
I saw that.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm stoked about with the Scout being ground loot and the changes that we've had is we have not seen nearly as many charge rifles. And, of course, right on cue, Petty Boss just had to ruin it all.
Yeah, it's always going to be Petty Boss as well with that charge rifle. The Team Nerf, one of the 7 squads alive here for ring number 5. It's about to close up in just a moment, and then we will have that final ring 6 closing in. Razor, oh no, Blake unfortunately was caught up inside the ring the whole time. He has almost no HP on that landing. He is going to instantly have to pop that Newcastle shield, but can they even find the landing zone they're going to play off of? It looks like the jungle gym here, they're a little bit separated, and now Petty Boss is on top of Bowser as they take this fight up against them. Nerf now have the man advantage. They secured that thirst as well onto Bowser. Not able to get the Gibraltar though. Pacing after him, hitting flesh. One more shot. The wall bounce is enough to get him behind, as it looks like this defensive bombardment ends up coming down on Nerf. But that gravity lift keeps them alive. What the hell is going on in this game?
I'm sure Terrence is thinking the same thing as you go up there and you spot that Valkyrie, but love watching players that don't really have power positions make something out of nothing. Complexity, they're going to have to move the zones, eating them alive. Newcastle wall doesn't really mean anything as G2 finally drops down from that high ground, and look out, that thing stuns you.
Yeah, he learns it a little bit the hard way. CLG have gone down as well. We're down to our final 3 squad. We got Nerf, G2, along with one more. That's going to be Atlanta Premier. Crook ends up going down there, but they should be able to play off the backside of this pipe, get that res. It's going to be a golden res as well, so it'll be a quick top off, but might mean they will be out of meds in just a moment. That's 1 syringe left for the horizon, but I was thinking maybe we would have a 5-team ending here. We know that teams can definitely coexist on the jungle gyms. At times we'll have maybe 2 teams alive on each one. But it is down to our final 3 squads. G2, they're the ones that are going to try and force the teams into each other right now. Probably have one of the better positions to set up a crossfire for this one, because you can see Nerf and AP have clear sightlines on each other and have to play around that instead.
I agree. That's a great point. But also, without any Watsons here and everybody playing on Seer in these aggressive type compositions towards the tail end, it just makes it so you're not necessarily able to coexist, because these players are so good at spotting one player out of position or canceling your heals and your reses that they'll immediately just send on you and reset. So if we had a couple Watsons, maybe some Caustics in this situation, definitely would anticipate a lot more players going forward. But now we get an opportunity to see which is the first team that's going to be flushed out, and that's going to be G2. Big nade there from Petty Boss. All 3 players stuck. If he could land this thermite, G2 is going to be toasted.
Oh man, Atlanta Premier and Nerf just have like a gentleman's agreement right now. Petty Boss is about to break it though. Take a look at him. He's like, okay, I need to actually make sure that these guys don't get any kills here, keeping an eye on him. So I'm glad that even though both teams are trying to focus down G2, Petty Boss is still keeping an eye on Atlanta Premier on the other side. G2 are just getting tagged left and right, but they should have been able to pick up enough loot off the boxes on the ground there from Complexity to heal up. We do have our first exhibit going down for Atlanta Premier, as G2 are slowly running out of ground, and you can see the ring is putting in work, but Nerf have it right behind them as well. We'll see if anyone from Atlanta Premier take an eye on over them. A nade comes on in. Petty Boss gets the first spray down. 120 onto Urban, and now G2 are going to try and full send it, but Crook ends up taking out results mid-air. You can see now G2 can do nothing but flail there. It's coming down to our final 3v3. Nerf versus Atlanta Premier. Petty Boss letting on in first, receiving the bulk of the focus, but here is the rest of Nerf showing up, pushing forward. Urban down. It's down to a 2v2. The Singularity keeping them inside of the ring, and they take so much damage for it that Nerf are able to clean up safely, taking the win here in game number 2.
What a black hole there. All of a sudden, it took them back away from the zone. They went into the zone there. We know how much damage that zone's going to do. So the leaderboard, you want to be in a position to win, and they're definitely in position to win right now.
Yeah, now we are about to load into our final map of World's Edge for today before we make the the swap on over to Storm Point. And it doesn't seem like we're getting too many changes in terms of legend selects. We do have Davis Wave filling in as the third for Esports Arena for it seems like the rest of the evening. So thank you so much to Davis Wave for showing up. And so we do have a full lobby. We'll be joining on board with Team Nerf in just a moment as we are headed on to World's Edge for game number 3. Again, we have to keep an eye on the 50-50s that are taking place, though. We've got the 50-50 at Fragment East that's been taking place between ASR and Complexity. We've got the fight that's been taking place down at Lava Siphon between TSM and Sentinels, but it's Team Nerf here in 5th place with 18 points now that are dropping over on Fragment West. TSM, though, already dropping Central combined together as the full 3. They're not looking to get dropped on and meleeed down.
This is interesting because typically you land in the middle and you want to take this fight fast, but because Sentinel splits up right here, this may end up griefing both of the teams, because if I know that this 50-50 is taking place and I'm one of the teams that lands maybe tree or something like that, I got a little gondola action to start game number 3. I'm not quite sure if TSM is going to want to elongate this fight. They should know that third parties are going to come, and they may want to end up backing off from this. And now, what is this? CLG's in the area too, so we have 3 teams here.
This is the oddest grief, but I think what for CLG, the idea is you know that the contest is happening. So if you drop on the edges, you steal some loot from TSM and from Sentinels, and then you back on over to Harvester to finish off that loot path. TSM, though, are seeming to be ready for that one, and they're moving together as a full 3, but CLG have made their way on out. But that is some griefing rap play if I've ever seen one.
Serious
for ASR,
griefing.
Though.
It's like my ranked games.
ASR looking to try and take this fight up against Complexity. They're pushing up as a full 3. Unfortunately for them, they only have the white Evo shields for themselves, so this is a dangerous fight.
Yeah, the ult is down right now, and I'm not quite sure if Slurpee G got the memo that they are not in the building, because if they were, then they would have been seen. So, gray armor, ballsy push coming in for ASR. Also, potential third party for Nerf if they want to go and push over here.
Yeah, this is really difficult because that exhibit didn't get the corners of this building, but as they drop down, Alberlele does have them backed up into corner. We'll go ahead and back away towards Slurpee G. That mobile shield has been used, and now they've got 2 members here on the door, but Alberlele ends up getting that first knock. It's going to be an exchange. ASR now down to just Slurpee G. So Complexity were able to just take advantage of that door. Now Muffin's dropped down to 1 HP, but he has the shield wall to play off of, and he also has the backup of Luxford there. He still has not been able to heal quite yet, but you get a moment of reprieve, hit up a quick cell. Now he should be able to get at least pop off these syringes before they finish off this 2v1. But this fight is taking forever. There's an opportunity now for Nerf to come in for the third party.
Great play, and Muffins, was he 1 HP or was he half HP? I'm not quite sure if it gets any lower than that. Unfortunate for ASR again. Triple gray armor, not much you can really do in that situation. Nerf should understand that there was knocks on both sides, and the res does happen, but if Forrest can get in there and cancel some healing, that's going to be big. Nice shots there from Turns. He's going to be able to get that initial knock, has the battery in hand, ready to go, and the rest of the players, Petty and Forrest, are going to start making their way through, but a third party coming around a corner. That's Mar from Team Mike and Ike with the long-range longbow. Is that enough for Mike and Ike to continue to send, though, on this third party? We'll find out. 1 player remaining here, and it is looking like that is going to be Newcastle. Muffins on that. Legend doesn't go for the res. Instead, he's going to go and push through. Turns still needs some help, and I don't think that they have pushed yet from the Mike and Ike side. They haven't, so that was from serious long range.
Oh, they might have been able to get the cancel on the res, and they do. Wizard Coin tapping that Q to take him out, and now Mike and Ike are going to chase after the rest of Team Nerf, and it seems like there's kind of a curse. When you win your game, you go out early in the next one. Nerf are still alive for now, but they've lost out on turns. I don't know if Mike and Ike will allow them to pick up that banner, just because take a look at where the ring is for this first zone. It's right here on the edge of Fragment East. So Mike and Ike, they can kind of camp around here for quite some time if they want to, and for the simple fact that they have, what, 6 other bodies that they can loot up, and so they can find themselves here for quite some time.
Unfortunate turn of events there for Team Nerf, but we'll see what happens. Like you mentioned, getting that banner would be absolutely huge. Meanwhile, Sentinels, we didn't get a chance to see what they did. They went down over towards tree, pushed around, and then flanked back up over towards where the zone's going to go. Oxygen doesn't look like they went through Lava Siphon this time, so they have learned their lesson. They're going to go with the long route, making their way now through towards the fragment side and making their way over towards that northwestern area. Oxygen loves to play center zone, and it looks like, you know, with the way that everything's set up right now, they're going to be fairly late. So this is going to be a tough situation, especially for Protectful, who has gray armor.
Yeah, again, we were talking about the major implications of having TSM down there on the south side. Teams have to adjust on their rotates. Oxygen made it. That adjustment means that it's slower on the rotate by about 20 seconds because they have to kind of run all the way around. For NRG, though, they're taking a pit stop over here at Lava Siphon. They've already got purples along with the gold, but Mike and Ike ends up getting into a fight. Petty Boss, the Nerf coming back around for this one. And so it's down to a 2v2 here. We'll see, though. Unfortunately, for Wizard Coin, he wasn't able to get down to the exhibit, but Mara gets the one clip onto Petty Boss. And now Forsey is left in a 1v2 versus Mike and Ike.
Yeah, this is a third party, though, so he's trying to stay alive as long as possible, hoping that the other two teams fight. Maybe looking for the one clip on that player, and peekaboo, he's able to get a lot of damage around, but now that's going to be 2 versus 1, and that's all she wrote. Mike and I going to finish the job, but a grief for a grief. That's what I always say, and now TSM going to come in and collapse on Mike and I.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate for TSM, though, because it looked like Sentinels, their plan was to actually steal the armor on the gondola, so TSM are playing off of blues and a white here. But there's the first knock. It doesn't even matter. TSM taking out Mar. They already had the numbers advantage as well, and now they just need to finish off the third player of Mike and Ike and steal all of their armors. So TSM is just a matter of time before they're able to upgrade themselves, and they do spot out that last player, MJ, going down. See how quickly Imperial Hal is on checking, but C9 now coming in for the third party. They do have the armor advantage. It's going to be about 75 HP in difference, but TSM still have the armor swaps inside to play off of. So this is a little bit more dangerous for Cloud9 than it actually looks, as that singularity is quickly cleared. We do have the Beast in the Hunt pop here for Rocker, and they spot out one by himself. That's going to be Verhulst going down, and Cloud9 are just forcing the issue up against TSM. And TSM have almost no fight left in them here. Hal is the only one up, and Cloud9 just absolutely slapped down TSM.
75 damage. That's how much damage TSM did. Grant, they were going against double scans at C9. They're fighting against a third party right there. But that was a dominant performance from Naughty, especially with the shots. The wingman shots connecting on the stairs, shooting down the black hole, the shots going up the lift as well. Perfect execution from C9. That's going to give them a lot of confidence.
Boy, 14 squads here, and we finally get to talk about the ring. I actually didn't get to talk about the ring this entire time. Sky, Hook, Circle, and of course CLG, who love to play center zone, are in a beautiful spot for it. They've got the caustic traps on all of the zip ups to their spot. They've got seemingly long range weapons, and it's hard to tell, but I think they might have a beacon scan to pull off of from their south. So this is going to be a great spot for Dimmy to be able to continually pick that one up for his team. Yeah, they've got the scans on it. Oxygen are actually on that building right now. A skyward dive coming out from them, but they've already kind of shown their presence. So Oxygen are going to try and play for that market side, actually opting for the triple story building here on the northeast, just outside. But ooh, Kubsky having a little bit of trouble with that door. Will be able to make it in. They've got the interception pylon, and I'm surprised he's actually going to go ahead and hit the bat for that. There we go. They're going to go ahead and opt to just go for the slow heals, but I kind of want to see the interception pylon going down, especially seeing as how they're on the edge of the zone here. They have time. They can build up another interception pylon.
It's wild when you go and think about what happened over towards the fragment side, how a lot of that starts with complexity pushing into that building, and then the knock from Mike and Ike onto turns. It all creates this crazy domino effect where teams push, team push, and then things finally slowing down with C9 because the rest of the players and teams have now made their rotation out. And you wonder, like, hey, why is there third parties? Why are there fourth parties? Why are there fifth parties? those are the amount of teams that are in the vicinity. You just don't really necessarily know that until it happens to you. Is now NRG is going to have to dance around, and we know how populated this area gets. Sweet dancing around, but he gets dropped, and now it's up to the rest of the members of NRG to get something going. The cover fire from Nathan, the shots onto the player. He actually gets dome pieced by the black hole. I don't know how he escapes from that one. The thing literally bounced off his head.
He did have like that downward slide, right? So it actually creates a little bit more distance than you would actually expect because of the vertical distance from that downward slide. But Excedrin did end up losing out on Kimchi Lee. They still need to try and recover here. Kodagami is out on that right-hand side to catch out that player, but you can see Cruzen backing away to go ahead and hit that res to get Kimchi Lee back up. So they still have the numbers advantage in this fight with round 2 closing in behind them. Well, Kimchi Lee needs the time to hit up this Phoenix kit. And it looks like they might be cut off as that high ground angle is being held. Cruzen, though, has the beamage. He's got plenty of ammo and that purple mag for that R301, but they're going to try and opt to play positionally instead, and Kodagami is the one that has been able to take that forward position here as he going to go ahead and hold on just a moment here. Another scan out in 2 more seconds will be huge for them as the exhibit is used from the other side, but Kodagami now spots him out on that grav lift, and they get the knock from the long range of the G7 Scout, putting in work.
Oh, sweet with the flank skis. He's back, and he's getting knocks. Kimchi Lee, though, he's going to go with the immediate gold res. This is huge. NRG may not expect this. They may continue to send on this thinking that they have the advantage, but all of a sudden, sometimes that gold res can give you a big advantage. Nice flank coming in from Kimchi, and that's the knock onto Sweet. Sweet, first player to go down again, but remember, his teammates had his back last time. We'll see if they're going to be able to do it again.
Oh, Kimchi Lee in position just in time, but Kodagami ends up going it down. Now it's down to a 2v2, but they should have the numbers advantage with that knock onto Gildersons. It's down to a 2v1. Cruzen and Kimchi Lee from either side. That's a nice double peak coming out from them, but they still need to recover here. It looks like a lot of our teams have made their way into Skyhook, and so they might be safe to go for the full reset. Atlanta Premier is diving down into the 2-story building. The exhibit is here, and they might have to try and full send because they are getting focused down by multiple squads. We know that CLG are up in that sniper post. It looks like Atlanta Premier are able to utilize that exhibit well to find an empty building for themselves and kind of stabilize now here inside of Skyhook.
And one of my favorite passives in the game is the spacewalk for Horizon. It's just so fun not taking any of that little not fall damage, but you know, the delayed response, the stumble that you take whenever you're falling from the high ground. Just that little extra second that you get from the boost is absolutely huge, and one of the reasons the enemy was able to get out of that situation. But Skyhook endings can be tricky for a handful of different reasons. You don't necessarily know exactly what the ending is going to be, and teams coexist for so long over here that once this gets to zone number 4 and 5, that death screen, that kill feed is going to light up.
And it makes for awkward fights with all these seers in as well. Exhibits are going to go down, and so you're going to know exactly where all the teams around you are, meaning that maybe if you end up taking a fight, a third party isn't quite as possible just because the exhibits are going to be down. These fights should be quite fast. Cloud9 actually getting to a fight right now. Zach Mazer caught outside by himself. Mamba ends up getting the knock from that center tower as another team ends up pushing them. It was Razor and end up kind of griefing them at the spot. CLG Nano with that port is able to get him back just in time. EMP was used throughout all of this, so CLG getting involved in this one, getting one more knock on to a member of Cloud9, looking for just a little bit more. Unfortunately, cannot chase after it. You can see that they have to hold down on so many positions here, and they're getting tagged, I want to say, by Oxygen on the other side of this one.
Mamba, the challenger, takes 100 damage and then re-peaks right there. Absolute psycho play for him, but the power of Wraith being showcased there to go and fly in for the third parties. The rotations still really strong. A very underutilized legend still to this day, but I believe he's the only one playing Wraith right now. As you see the skyward dive coming in for ES. They're going to have to coexist inside of this building, and right now it doesn't look like Davis Wave's going to be able to get out of there. Clean with the EMP, but at this point it's a 2v3, and it's not looking good. Big spray coming out over towards the side, but getting hit with the fence is not going to be good. Vizio should have this one under wraps, and they do. Tough rotation coming in for ESA.
Here's the third party from Renegades, though, as they're trying to get involved into this one. We'll see if the traps are still there. The exhibit has gone down. The Syracuse already been used, so they can't cancel the res, and so they are up as a full 3. Yubin ends up getting the first knock on to Bursty, but now Oxygen from that triple-story building ends up taking out 1. So this isn't a clean fight for Renegades, and so they need to kind of prioritize just stabilizing first before they continue to try and take this fight. But now, here they come. It's the full send from the other squad. Renegades had to pull off, had that res canceled as Oxygen now are trying to really build some momentum off of it, but Protectable ends up taking a lot of damage. Kubsky calls it to go for the retreat because, again, they cannot follow up on that.
It's questionable if they could. I mean, they get a couple knocks. If they got both the Thirst, that makes sense. Intel comes in for the third party, so that play ends up being genius for Kubsky because now we know that there's going to be even more teams that come in after this. Expect Seer on Seer scans after this because this is going to be a bloodbath. Icy taking a lot of damage, looking like he's got a broken armor swap, and another team coming back on over. It's Oxygen with the little whoop, swoop, and pull coming back for what they started.
Yeah, they knew they just needed to buy a little bit more time, but now it's Excedrin coming in for the final third party, quite possibly that Singularity on the outside, so they cannot clear it, and Kimchi Lee does enough damage. Unfortunately for them, there's an interception pylon, so they couldn't follow up on that Singularity with the nades. As Kimchi Lee is off on his ones, they need a little bit more backup for him as he's trying to hit up that med kit. They do hit that Q, and it's all on to 3 members of that Oxygen squad. We're trying their best to survive, and so they haven't been able to heal quite yet. They still have that information, but you can see they lost out on a priority for the fight. They can no longer chase because now they leave themselves vulnerable to a third party. So they'll just have to play the rooftop for now and wait to see where this circle ends up pulling.
Yeah, and that's another team flying in. We have 4 teams inside of this building right now. This is absolutely insane. Bowser coming in off the high ground. Rakanishu on the Gibby. They're going to need to potentially hold this roof together because you have a team on every single level of this building. Market's still in. 2 buildings left. 8 squads. Skyhook endings are just so fun.
We've also got that little fence line to play off of to the eastern edge too, so there's still plenty of spots. It looks like CLG are stacked on top of Sentinels for the time being. We'll see if CLG make that drop down onto them or if they try to cut them off with the Wraith Portal. CLG have the better equipment overall with the purples up against the blues that Sentinels are on because, again, that contest has not been working out for them. Sentinels have not been able to get anything going. We do have that Nox Gas Grenade with the EMP, but it doesn't seem like the EMP actually catches. Singularity used just to try and delay, but that's not going to do much for them as they have a beautiful angle here for Nano, and he's just going to drop down onto Sentinels, and this is not a great day, but this is still, I guess, the best game so far for Sentinels, going out in 8th place.
Oh man, Sentinels bowling is what I like to call that clip right there because they just went down 3 in a row.
10 pins. That was a strike.
They did. That was definitely a Sentinels strike, but not for them. That was nasty, nasty plays from CLG. I mean, the gas really owns a lot of AoE there, so when you combine that with a bunch of grenades and then just the pure aggression that came after that, there really wasn't much Sentinels could do. Unfortunate situation for them and just been really tough overall as Z Davis is a little angry at his interception pylon. Looks like he wants to replace another one.
Yeah, they might have gotten the full charge, you know, exhausted all of the shields off of it. So just toss down another one, buy time, because by the time round 6 closes, he might, if he has an ultimate, or well, never mind. If he has a gold helmet, have another one ready. If he has an ultimate excel, he instantly has another one ready. Ooh! Luzin ends up getting a knockout onto Joey Blackout. But they are safe inside of their building now. Excedrin are trying to make that push. Atlanta Premier ends up going down in this scramble with that ring closing. Yet Joey Blackout up just in time. He's going to take the slow heals here. He should have the interception pylon up top to try and slow heal, but never mind. It's CLG that were able to sneak their way into the market side while we still have 3 teams stacked on top of each other. We got Rack Attack, Excedrin, and one more team inside of this 5-story building.
This is a decent position for Rack Attack to be in. One, because they have the high ground, they have Caustic, but there could be a potential Valkyrie ult if they wanted to, you know, get a little bit weird with the way that they rotated and kind of let the other teams get distracted at the very last second. They could take to the high ground and maybe do something. But right now, this is a tough spot for everybody besides CLG. I mean, CLG is going to be sitting pretty over towards market while all of these teams are going to be duking it out.
Yeah, and CLG have that caustic. They should have another Nox gas grenade, and so this could be a free farmage for them. If the ring ends up closing, where enough teams are just kind of forced into that Nox gas grenade, that could easily be another 12 kill points for CLG. If they don't pick up the large majority of this, of the remaining kill points, I would be amazingly surprised. Oxygen, though, have a little bit of priority on the drop down. They're only on that second story, and they do have that Watson setup. So if he can save up a few nodes, he can try and control the exits there up against the other squads. And he has that interception pylon just to play a little cover as well for Oxygen. But here it is, the final ring closing in.
Oxygen's worked so hard this game to get into this position. They gave market up a little bit early. Mamba looking for the Kraber, 95 to the back. You know, I don't know if the Kraber should only do 95 damage. I don't really agree with that. That shot looked good to me, Mamba. I would at least give you 96 damage.
Nice big play there for Nano. He ends up getting stuck with that Arc Star. Armor swaps over to a purple while that gets eaten up, and then armor swaps back after to the red to stabilize. But here it is. The setup for CLG is actually creating a lot of space for Joey Blackout and company. Mamba gets the first knock onto Oxygen's Kubski, and they do need to get that knockcast grenade a little bit further. There's another knock. Oxygen on the verge of getting taken out there. Mamba just go for the 301 spray. Thank you to finish him off. Demi ends up finding one more, and CLG are starting to clean up, but Excedrin picks up 3 of their own. We are now down to our final 3 squads, and it's about to be 2 here in just a moment as Excedrin have to drop down. But here comes Team Tyson from behind to try and get the third party onto them, but CLG instantly respawn, and the gas, they are just left breathing it in. CLG with the lone caustic on the lobby absolutely dominate.
And it started with them griefing loot towards Lava Siphon. Can we just think about that for a second? They were the 3rd team to land over towards Lava Siphon. They gobbled up the loot from Sentinels in TSM. They made their way back on over towards Harvest.
For our first game on Stormpoint, let's get into game number 4. We are seeing, we've got the Vantage. Vizio have been trying to run that, and this is going to be interesting. Blitzen is getting off the fuse to pick up the Seer, so they're still looking to get very aggressive with this one. They've got the Octane to try and follow up with the jump pads if they end up getting some critical damage off, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on that as well.
Yeah, CLG just plays Legend Roulette. That's how they come up with their composition, because this is, again, just very unorthodox. You don't typically see these 3 played together. Yeah, Bloodhound and Bang, that's a classic, you know, season 0, season 1 type of thing. But throwing that in with Crypto so you can go and gather zone information. We saw a big win from CLG last week that they should not have taken that win. Nano got knocked numerous times. They were able to go throughout the map and get the reses and come back and have a phenomenal game. Let's see if they could capitalize on the momentum that they got in game number 3. Moving on over from World's Edge to Stormpoint, and we're on board with the winners, CLG, just dominating that final game.
Yeah, so no caustic for them this time around, but again, they have been able to utilize these smokes quite well for Nano on the Bangalore. We have Excedrin dropping over at North Pad. Things are going down, but they do have a relatively large split, so they might not be getting contested here. It's a blue armor for them to pick up, and the Sentinels are actually here for that contest. So Sentinels, this might be the turnaround for them, not having to take the fight up against TSM, but Excedrin have that high ground angle. Mike and Ike fighting, though, early on. ASR on the other side of this one, as MJ is trying to chase after Reptar right now, who was able to just piece in with that wingman takeout 1. We'll see if they can at least try and recover him and get that res up. Gonna be out in the open here, and so it looks like Mike and I could do at least recover, but they have been slowed down on this loop path.
Wingman is such a powerful gun to start, but the Havoc is respectable as well for Albarelli. Great shots across the map, not easy to connect at that type of distance. The recoil control absolutely insane. Now it's up to Wave. Can he get this? A little bit of dipsy doodle there. And he is able to get the knock, but the tap strafing was a little bit too much for him to handle, as OXG looks like they are in a 2-on-1 situation. And you know what, the L-Star, a lot of people forget that this thing got a small buff overall, and it still does a decent amount of damage, but you have to hit your shots.
Yeah.
Kubski switching on over to the Wingman, and ESA going out. It's been tough for them. Shout out to Davis again for filling in, but this has not been the day that they've been looking for.
Yeah, we get our first look at the rings. A little bit of antenna in. We got some launch pad as well. And we got complexity going in to play off that river side. And so they are center zone right now. And they should feel relatively safe on this side. Not too many teams should be rotating in from the northeast. You can see it's actually pretty clear. We have Nerf out there along with G2 and Team Tyson of multiple ways to approach this one. For TSM, though, I'm wondering if they want to continue to try and play this one on the edge. They can't really expect this one to pull down to antenna. We rarely see antenna circles now. So they have the option to try and play southwest side. Maybe try and take a fight up against the Atlanta Premier or the team coming out from Barometer.
The good thing is they could take this, get the kill points like you were talking about, and then just skyward dive into a good position because there's a lot of cover when it comes to Stormpoint. That's why you saw a lot of players before the Gibby nerfs were going with Gibby-less compositions because there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of areas that you can kind of hide, there's a lot of cover basically in terms of where you could put yourself up. So this plays into TSM's strengths, and I like that you brought that up because they really set the pace for the variety of how you should play this game. Originally, they would get in the middle of the zone. Now they're looking for a lot more fighting. It's also exciting to see them sticking with the same composition, too, so they can just continue to work on their team fighting. And we already know how strong they are individually, how strong their team is. But being able to play both of the same legends on both maps is going to just help out a little bit more, right? And that's why you have to have even respect for these players. Like, I mean, Turns is most likely playing something different. We know that Nano's been playing something different too. So it's not easy just to get in that mentality immediately and just say, all right, I'm going to play a completely different legend at the highest level possible.
TSM are able to rotate for a free roll drop there. Verholz ends up picking up that bow check bow. This is going to be a little bit scary for the teams around them now. House ends up spotting out a squad over by that launch side. And they might want to try and play off of it. I don't think the beacon has spawned, though, unfortunately for them. So this isn't going to be the hugest of wins. Just getting some placement, kill points, of course, will be nice. But really, you want to kind of leverage that for a better position overall. The G7 Scout in the hands of Hal. He doesn't quite have enough in the mag. Unfortunately, no extended mag there for him as he ends up getting tagged, standing still for a little bit too long. But Reps and Verholz are still trying to give chase, or at least apply some pressure onto them. But Al knows that there's just too many teams around them right now that they can't really chase after this one. So climbing back up that hill to try and find a different position, maybe playing out of antenna now, as we do actually have a fight taking place on the south side between the teams over at Barometer and Shipball.
Saying gonna go for the heals over here, but this is a power spot. That is such a dominating position. Atlanta Premier, second place in the thermal station ending, coming in and taking Vizio out. Looking really strong in the way that they were able to do that, barely taking any damage as well. But that positioning previously on top of that high bridge is a go-to power spot, and it's going to be very tough for other teams to go and push them off. Nerf looking down on the low ground saying, hey, how do we get up there? Is there any shot that we could get some damage on this team? At this point, all you're doing is griefing your utility. That's going to cost a couple of cells, and very similar to what happened previously in Thermal Station, where G2 had the high ground. They were shooting down. You need weapons like the longbow, like the scout, whatever you may pick or find, and you need to have that poke damage. So it's perfect on Blakeu especially.
Yeah, Blakeu has been absurdly strong with these sniper rifles. Griefing saying a little bit there, but actually does him a favor. The Syracuse comes in, he knocks him off at the same time, and so he doesn't get canceled on that bat. It just kind of worked out. But here's Sentinels, though. They don't go for that early 50-50 fight. They end up backing away against Team Excedrin. They are still on the north side of the zone, as it looks like they might be trying to play off this beacon, but they have a team ahead of them, and so they would like to find the fight. They would like to try and make up for the last 3 games here, as the exhibit has gone down. Sanox and company not in it quite yet, and so they're going to try and wait this one out just a bit. They do have time to work with. It's Mike and Ike on the other side of this one. MJ going to the skies with that grab lift. He only hits one, but he will go ahead and try and push forward off of that one. Mar has taken so much damage here, but MJ is still covering that high ground angle for his team. Mar will be able to heal up for now, and it's just a reset on either side. You got isolated players out here, so Mike and Ike have an option to just try and full send it onto one, especially that player that's playing off of that gravity cannon.
Nice thermite damage, though. Has to slow things down temporarily, and The peak shoot, the sky nades are on point right now. It's crazy for MJ. I'm not even quite sure how he's alive right now. Having a bat in this situation or a Phoenix would be huge, but now Sentinel's starting to push up. Crust is busting out the Nox gas grenade. There goes a singularity, but it's just not in the right position as Sentinels has Mike and Ike on the ropes right now. There you go. That's someone has to shoot it, right?
They didn't want to. You can see how they just did not want to deal with that at all. They end up only getting the one knock here and the thirst onto MJ. I don't think there's going to be an opportunity for them to pick up that banner unless NRG creates some chaos here. Maybe there's a chance now for Mike and Ike to come back. It's going to be a 3v3. Sentinels. Oh, whoopsie. Unfortunately, Nathan ends up just holding S just a little bit too long, but it does slow one down enough. That's the first knock on Lou. And now Nathan going for that peak. Senox will fall here. NRG about to knock out Team Sentinels. But again, they have to worry about the third party themselves here. Even though they haven't lost anyone, they're still taking a lot of flesh damage here. So that slows down their reset. That's Senox getting finished off. Now Nathan needs to hit that med kit.
And the PK is coming through. Mike and Ike doubled back. They're trying to get that banner, but it looks like they are just going to get the clap instead. And NRG, clean. I mean, not the cleanest, right? We all know what happened with that. But you know what? I think he was just saying, I'm going to make this a little harder on myself, Jamerson, you know, and then I'm going to impress you with some amazing shots after that. Let's be honest, those shots with the flat line were absolutely ridiculous. Atlanta Premier with the rotation now, looking pretty solid with the scout, landing about 4 shots on the enemy team to charge, get his Evo shield charged up a little bit closer. But again, Jamerson, you brought it up before. Third parties, very common here, very popular. You're definitely anticipating one coming here if this fight lasts a little bit longer.
Yeah, the micro drones did connect onto Crook as he does take height, but he's getting challenged for it now. Missile Swarm just to clear the angle and toss in the nade just to play a little bit more space here, and that's enough to at least gain control over the high ground, forcing them all the way back. So Crook has done a successful job of just utilizing his abilities alone just to play for position, but he does need the backup. I want to kind of see the whole of Atlanta Premier getting ready for this push right now because they do have them contained. They have dropped down now and are looking to try and finish off Oxygen. We're just cutting off all of these angles. You see that they have set up the fences for themselves. Does Kubsky have the interception pylon? He does not. It's 40% off. It doesn't even seem like he has an ultimate excel. So this is looking a little bit scary. But for Atlanta Premier, they have to know they don't hear the interception pylon. They should be able to send it in.
Problem is right now is you don't have enough fences down exactly. Kubsky realizing that, and he's like, oh, I got to cover each single door. Got to have more of a presence here, not only so you could fall back to a spot, but just in case a third party does come in, you have that area where you could go and lock down and the home base so everybody understands where to go. But playing and coexisting with this team here, you want to just kind of play it safe because look at the amount of teams that are in the vicinity. CLG's coming in. You have TSM over towards the side. Intel is battling it out with Excedrin. Crust, the lone player from Sentinels, making his way around. You have ASR about to meet up with C9, so this is going to be a pretty explosive fight.
This is a terrible angle for them. They do have that interception pylon down with that mobile shield to coverage, and they do toss down that shield wall to get up top. There it is. The interception pylon going down. They need it. SlurpyG gets instantly deleted. Rocker is in their face with that EVA 8, but somehow they end up taking out Zach Mazer, Rocker, and now they're just trying to reset for themselves. They need to get SlurpyG up, and they need to get him out of zone. They're just kind of stuck here on the wall, but they will be able to reset. I don't know what happened to Cloud9 there when they had such a beautiful position to try and gatekeep from.
They got rack attacked in the back. I believe Bowser joined the party from long range, and unless someone from ASR threw some sort of nade that did a ton of damage, I believe a third party helped out with that fight, and I was really worried for ASR with how poorly that was going from Alberli's screen. Rack attack with the damage. I think it was the scout from long range as we hop on board with Razor and where their positioning is, again, over towards that launch pad area. Such a powerful spot where Blakeu is. A lot of kill potential over here, but TSM hasn't left their spot, and there's a reason. They are waiting for this zone to close as Oxygen gets eliminated so they could capitalize on all the teams that are rotating from the west.
Yeah, we have a hard pull going over towards that launch pad area. So Razor already set up for it. They have the continual ring scans. They have the Newcastle they can set up to get the safe scans on that ring as well. For Excedrin, though, they are fighting out of antenna now. This is one of the squads that could get gate kept by TSM, who are playing that eastern choke point now. Rack Attack find themselves in a fight currently. Bowser needs some time to heal up. They do have the bubble if things go a little bit awry, and he's going to go ahead and toss that one down. Bowser still needs time to heal up, though, and this team is just tanking the ring damage. This is zone number 3. Quick clear on that singularity. I didn't even hear it. It's G2 on the other side of this one. Designful, the first one to fall. And now Rack Attack will try and force the issue here. They know that they should be a little bit low on HP, but you can hear them getting called back. Bowser says, hey, don't overextend on this one. That's a really good call. You saw that Valkyrie dropping a little bit low. And so now Atlanta Premier having to deal with this contest as the ring will be closing in 30 seconds. Nice grab lift into the shots onto Kimchi Lee, taking him out.
Yeah, really nice shots with the Volt there. Crook is able to get his battery off. Enemy now going to back off as well. Looks like he does have a handful of batteries. I mean, 2 handful of batteries, basically. His energy is now on the move. Going back to that fight with ASR and C9, though, Bowser did join that fight. He's on Vantage. He hit them with the snipers, Mark Jamerson. Got a chance to rewatch that one on the rebroadcast over towards the side. And that snipers, Mark, can put in serious damage if you get hit twice.
Here's Excedrin, unfortunately down Kimchi Lee, so they won't have that gravity lift. Sentinels ends up getting cleaned out, and now Rack Attack, they toss down that exhibit. They're going to charge forward, bubble a little bit early. They got knocked onto one, and G2 do get finished off. Rack Attack still playing the southeast side. Extremely strong point for them, but CLG were on the lurk. Not able to find the timing, though, as they can try and push forward off of this Rolling Thunder to try and clear it out. And yep, Nano's going to go for it. Rolling Thunder out, but he gets tagged. Nades coming in. Narrowly able to dodge that one out thanks to the double time. But the nade spam is here for that squad. Now Rack Attack gonna try and dance around these shots. The nade comes in. Nano gets tagged. He needs to fall back once again. And CLG are running out on this time. They've used so much of their utility. The smokes are in. Demi has the Beast in the Hunt popped, I believe. He should get a scan down now, and he's right on top of them. But again, the defensive setup coming out from Rack Attack seems to be too much, and CLG are sent packing.
That's tough. I mean, some great smokes coming through. The Rolling Thunder was well placed, but the nades to split up the team, and then now you're running low on your resources, running low on batteries. Yeah, a lot of cells for Mamba, but the importance of these batteries in these small skirmishes are super, super crucial. As enemy going to join the kill lead over here. TSM now on the hunt. It's going to be a grav lift, but his PK shot's not hitting for Hal as much as he was hoping for. I think they have this player on the ropes, though, and that should be an easy cleanup for TSM. Everybody's still extremely healthy over here. Blake going to get some kills onto Petty Boss. That's going to be Nerf versus Razor, and Hal just infiltrating this building for free. Rep's the only one necessarily to take damage throughout all of that, but that's been the TSM special all day. You hide in a building and you get smoked out.
Yeah, TSM looked like they were just going clay pigeon shooting, and that's off of the back of the exhibit, just knowing all the angles. As Razor have lost out on Boxa T, but they finish off Nerf. Unfortunately, though, I don't know if they'll have an opportunity to try and plug him back in. There is a respawn beacon there. NRG still patrolling around the northern side of the edges, as might have been able to spot out a squad. They're going to try and rotate around this one, maybe come in from the hard north side. Looks like CLG versus Rack Attack right now, and CLG end up going down finally. That fight going the way of Rack Attack. This was an extended one for them, but it was just eating out the resources that CLG tried to expend on that original push. Kind of punished them ultimately in the end there, and Rack Attack took advantage of that. NRG, though, here on the north side, making their way into Launchpad.
You can see Tyson was eliminated. NRG now playing very consistent throughout the day. And ASR, remember, we were talking about them before Game 4 started. They really needed to pick it up, and they have. Maybe a little bit lucky with the help that they had from Bowser, who's now the kill leader with 5 on Vantage. I believe we have 2 Vantages in the lobby, too. And with all this open area, Sniper really, really important. Not only that, you get the armor check with the passive. You get to see how many players are on the team as well. So if you need to wonder, hey, should we take this fight? You're going to have all of that information.
Yeah, nice little spot here for ASR as they're playing on the southwest side. They've got the sand dune along with these rocks, so Alralele will have that safe interception pylon. Again, with how slow things should be now with it coming down to the final 6 squads, and it's just round number 4, he will have plenty of time to be able to get another interception pylon without having to expend and Ultimate Excel. TSM on the look for a fight, but Reps goes down. Nathan was in his face with that flatline, and TSM now are fighting into a 3v2, but Verholz is ready to take it, pushing forward. He ends up falling, and Hal was not there to try and back him up. NRG cleans up TSM, and they back away. Renegades were looking for the third party that entire time, but it was a clean fight for NRG, and so they just survive for now. Razor, throughout all that, do end up getting Boxa T back into this game. Now the ring is pulling away from them, so this is going to come down to Blake Yu with that shield wall, that Newcastle wall, to try and set up a decent early forward position for them.
Tough situation for Hal to be in, because I believe he had scout PK, and that's why he was just, shooting these PK shots from a fairly long range. And hello, don't stand still that long, as Sang's going to punish you for that one with the R301 3X, which is such a powerful scope on this weapon. If you're able to hit your shots like that, you're going to stop the heals over towards the bottom, also revealing that that player is a rat. But Razor's been up here for quite some time. They had their little skirmish with Nerf. They lost on a player. They were able to get him back in there. Saw the longbow connecting. Uh-oh. Reptar with the bow. The lobby's done for.
Yeah, NRG versus Renegades right now. Sweet getting the knock onto Yubin, and he secures that thirst as well. And Razor are actually happy to see the fights taking place underneath them right now, because it frees it up a little bit more for them for the drop down. They'll be able to toss down that Newcastle wall once again. ASR, though, they have to start rotating in. You can see Reptar playing on his ones all the way here on the left side. You've already got Alberlele and Slurpee set up for their zone, and you can see why. They've got that interception pylon down, I believe, fairly shortly at the very least, setting up the fences for themselves. So ASR are basically on the slow side of the zone now, while all the other teams are stacked on top of each other there inside of Launchpad.
The man that basically got this weapon created, now it's in his hands. And he just started to heat up a little bit. The first couple shots were warning shots, but they do have a great position right now on the ASR side, and this is exciting to see. Again, with this composition that they were using earlier, now they're in a prime spot. That's exactly what you want to do. Pick up some early kill points. Oh, the black hole coming down, the nades left and right. Blake doing a great job of using the shield, but now the shield is gone. NRG just running away from this one. Looks like they're getting shot in the back as well, and maybe worried about getting pinched in between both teams, but what a job by Blake, who's staying alive.
Rack Attack finally going down in 5th place. We are now down to our final 4 squads. One team currently as a duo. ASR trying to take advantage of the fact that the cooldowns are not quite there yet for Razor. You can see they've got that high ground, they've got the angles. There's a spray down, 186 to take out Boxa T. And now ASR trying to play off the momentum here, but it's going to be slowed down as Reptar needs to reset. Does not want to throw anything here, as we are now down to our final 3 squads. Razor, though, on the verge of getting knocked down. It's about to come down to a 3v2, it seems like, with NRG in just a moment. Might be a 3v3. We'll find out. There it is. Razor eliminated, and it is a 3v2. And Reptar is set up on that high ground once again, dishing out the damage, and now he's ready to swap off with his teammates. But he almost goes down. There's the Newcastle wall. Alberlele on the right-hand side. NRG with the missile swarm brings it down to a 2v2, and they are still healthy. Nathan gets a quick armor swap as he's right back into the fight. Gilderson swapping down, but Alberlele gets the knock onto Nathan. It's a 2-man swing on Alpha. Gilderson, can he do it? No, it's going to be ASR to take the win here in game number 4.
So excited to see this team pull it together, and hey, they could have got eliminated so much earlier if Bowser doesn't come in with that third party onto C9 from behind. But sometimes you got to get a little bit lucky.
Basically well within reach of each other, and after 2 games, depending on performances, even the middle of the pack teams can catch up. But they need to do it here if they want to have a shot at our top 2 placements. We have $2,000 on the line, and we are about to head into game number 5. Legend Select, we did see some swap-offs when it came to Storm Point, as we had some pretty big swap-off for CLG no longer running that caustic for themselves, and finding it a little bit difficult to find the fight, I believe, up against Rack Attack earlier on because of it, even though they try to leverage that Bangalore smoke for that. Still, I'm glad that we're seeing them really trying to stretch that composition here, make that one work on Storm Point, but so far it has not yet. But we will be joining on board with ASR, who are dropping down here at the downed beast. I believe they might have ran into a squad a little bit early on, but they are spreading just a bit, so they should be relatively safe here. It's Mike and Ike that's inside of the downed beast, so we might have a fight in just a moment.
Looks like we already do have another fight too. Sentinels with their 5th 50-50 in a row, and this has just been tough to watch for Sentinels. I mean, they're taking damage. They're not really getting any RNG. When they do win a fight, they get third-partied. Tough go at it, but this is what the pro players do. They adjust, and they definitely don't have any quit in them. So I'm expecting Sentinels to fight even harder here in game number 5 and game number 6. Excedrin taking the high ground. Looking like they are trying to put down some serious damage. Kim Chile with the Spitfire 3X. That's a toxic combo. Add a purple light mag in there, and that'd be all she wrote for the players down below. But now Oxygen Gaming looking like they are still in their 50-50 as well. This is against ESA, so 3 different fights taking place early.
Where did they come from? I didn't even see the door open, but the full 2-man swing out. Gets that instant knock onto Oi Senpai. Now Oxygen are going to try and take advantage of this nearly broken door, but there's someone up top, and there's the flank out from Phony Head. And Oxygen is all up to Protectable here, but he will end up going down. CLG, though, are in place for this third party. The scan's down. Now they're trying to play up top. We'll see if the recovery is here. We'll see if they've got the EMP. At least using that drone to cover off one angle to see if anyone drops down. Should be having it fairly shortly. Demi, though, 10 seconds off with his next scan, but he's going to go ahead and push off and hits the 3-tap, takes out Phony Head. Now CLG about to be successful on this third party. Demi finds one more, and Esports Arena are not long for this world. There's the 33 to finish it off. Esports Arena knocked out. CLG picking things up.
That's so key that they took that third party before Sears Ultimate came up. Now MJ with the shots onto Reptar. This is going to be Elbrily getting dropped as well. And the winners from the previous game are down to 1 player. And Slurpee gets eliminated. Mike and Ike. Big team fight there. And a lot of that having to do with the shots and the timing that came through. Taking a look at the zone. It's going to be a mill zone, which is super exciting to see. Bowser and the Rack Attack. They're going to love that one. They're going to be able to set up with the Vantage over there. They also have a beacon scan if they want that one. So nobody setting up in the God spot quite yet. We'll see who gets over there first.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult, especially with how many kind of edge teams that we actually have are already in the area right now. But we do have, it looks like, a fight between Vizio and G2 about to break out. G2 playing off the low ground inside of Barometer right now, and they're kind of used to this fight. You can see Designful just holding the angle for now. He's utilizing that passive, hit the Q just in a moment. He does spot out one, half HP, does get tagged as he wants to try and chase after him. Caught out in the middle of the open, and Designful with the wingman will get the first knock onto Blitzen. G2 now, Designful. Oh man, his wingman is just disgusting.
Really is, and he's got the PK in the back pocket, so busting out a really old combo as Vizio's going to get dropped. Vizio's had a lot of success, especially on Stormpoint with this composition, but G2 going to shut that one down early, and we haven't had an opportunity to see much of Chaotic today, and I'd love to see his screen just a little bit more. The dude is one of the best R301 players that we have in all of North America, and #1 overall in terms of ranked. So a good pickup for G2. G2, when they were always at their best, played together, grind together, always dominating ranked lobbies. And the teams that play together and practice the most typically get great results. So it's nice to see G2 go with someone that's going to be suitable for their play style. So looking forward to seeing what happens with G2 going forward.
Yeah, they aren't able to chase after it anymore here, but they do have the opportunity at the very least here at Barometer to go ahead and take that pit stop, hit up the crafting. Results is probably going to want to upgrade his armor for free at the very least, unless they find another blue armor around there, but I don't think they are. NRG, though, playing off the top of the down beast, just farming free damage off the Trident. If you can't hit that, I don't know what you're doing here, so... they're going to go ahead and utilize that. It looks like Sweet wants to go ahead and full send it. He's calling it. Let's go ahead and push off of this one. Gilderson's is going to be on the front line. Nathan does have that singularity tossed down with that grab lift to catch an angle here, as that team might have actually been able to dib out with that Trident. We'll see. NRG are still giving chase for the time being. I don't know if you can actually catch up to a Trident here, but they are definitely trying.
So many songs I want to see when I see people just rolling in the Trident, but we'll save that for karaoke night. But Excedrin is looking like they want to push inside of this building. Vizio gets eliminated. NRG picking up a knock onto Pau as well, and to Yubin, so Renegades is on the ropes, but this is, again, the composition that you don't want to face when you are dealing with sitting inside of a building. And that's why you see a lot of Watsons are being popular, because if you want to set up, you want to avoid the black hole. But right now, it seems like Excedrin is a little bit hesitant to push in. Maybe it's because of the caustic, or maybe it's because they're just not getting the information that they were hoping for.
Yeah. Sentinels, though, this is their second time backing away from this 50-50 up against Excedrin. Very similar rotation to what we had. Again, we'll see if this ends up punishing them. Here comes the nades once more that they have to dance around. See how Crust sets up with these barrels. It's kind of in the middle there. So it's surprising that he doesn't have it a little bit more forward to try and maybe cover a climb up from someone. Does have one more barrel. Unfortunately, they don't have a gold helmet or anything on him, so his cooldowns are just taking a little bit too long. He does have the Nox gas grenade ready, though, but just not able to find the angles. They don't even know where this squad is because, well, they're not rocking that seer. So this is a blind fight for them, and it's all about contact. Here comes out a nade, as it looks like Nerf might be getting themselves into a fight. What the hell is going on there?
Turns is going to have to pop a battery. So is Petty. Looks like they're going to have to reset basically immediately. Forsey does have his Q if he wants to go and throw this one out, but again, when you are on the outside of the building, you're really vulnerable to a potential third party or long range shots. So small advantage is going on in Nerf in terms of positioning. Obviously having high ground is great, but you can see why everyone's playing so safe. That's Rakinishu playing it safe. C9 getting eliminated by G2, actually. That's chaotic. Picking up some kills there with Resulta. They're going to combine to be able to drop C9. Unfortunate for C9. His Sentinel's finally getting pushed. Is this still Excedrin in the area? I believe so.
Oh boy, Crust is low. They're trying to pre-pop these barrels. Actually misses that shot there. Bubbled down. Actually blocks the shot from Senox. Now Lou is going to try and chase after them. They actually end up taking down Cruisin by enough time. So it's down to a 3v2, but they still need to try and control heights. Excedrin do get knocked out. So nice turtling out there from Sentinels, and it doesn't seem like there's a third party here this time around to punish them. And so now maybe this is the game that Sentinels can really try and recover after the last four. Team Tyson up at up at Mills right now. They do have that high ground angle for themselves. Davis Wave popping, Z Davis popping that ultimate excel to maybe get down an interception pylon, but I don't know if you really want it at the rooftop. Even with the Newcastle wall up here, there are so many angles where it could get taken out, and are actually pushing out. They might have a player isolated. There's one. Davis actually challenges for it, and unfortunately, Oxy Aries misses almost all of that there. There was a huge opportunity that they were not able to capitalize off of, but Z Davis does stay alive. Now Joey Blackout with this high ground angle off that 30-30 does spot one quite possibly, but they do not end up finding anything off of this. So they just back away now. We'll see if they can maybe try and retake Mills, but that push now kind of punishes them because they were set up for that Mills rooftop.
Oxy airball, that's what I'm gonna call that. that was not what you're looking for in the wingman. But hey, I'll be honest. Hal getting some knocks over too onto Sang, but that's what the wingman's all about. You'll be surprised. I mean, Oxy is one of our strongest players that we have in terms of our partner players. That's why he's signed and that's why he's playing in this lobby right now. We're Series E. I hear a lot of people saying like, "Oh, I'm not good with the scout. I'm not good with the wingman." Because it's a single shot weapon, you can get really upset that you don't hit your shots and then you just kind of give up on the weapon. That's not the case. It's okay to miss some shots here and there. You're not going to hit every single one like maybe you will with an automatic weapon. It feels a lot better when you see those numbers light up when you're hitting someone with an R301 or an R9 or a flat line. So if you are wondering how to get better with these weapons, the best way to do it is use them, as TSM now starting to push in and try to capitalize on their kills.
Do have them covered behind there, as you can see that Imperial Hal is the first one on contact, having to back away because of that missile storm as he hits up that bat. But Verholst and Reps are now starting to climb forward. Big Evan now should have that angle onto that squad with the pressure that Hal has been applying onto them. Arcstar in, and that's the exhibit out. No, Verholst doesn't get the knock quite yet. Waiting out that gravity lift, backing away here, as they're just waiting this one out. Maybe they can clear out that exhibit and then toss one of their own down the slide down from that team, try to make it into the building. Reps is connecting with that G7 scout, but does not get the knock. The singularity has been used as well. Reps has one behind the rocks. It might be two, actually. And that team narrowly not making it out. That's going to be G2 losing out on Resulta.
And notice how they immediately shift focus to try to get the knock on the down player because you do not want to have them get this res. Hal gets knocked. That's going to be chaotic. So now we're in a 2-on-2 situation. Reps getting a little bit over aggressive. G2 turning this back around. And now you can see why this man was picked up. They are turning this 2v3 right back onto TSM.
Yeah, Chaotic basically just going for shoulder peeks here. Atlanta Premier just lurking the entire time, looking for the third party. And so now you have the full recovery, and it's just TSM probably on the verge of getting knocked out here in 12th place. Not too many kill points either. Atlanta Premier have a nice angle set up, but they got a knock onto Designful. So now both teams on the verge of getting eliminated, but we might have Chaotic taking out one from Atlanta Premier. You can see enemy dropping extremely low. Singularity has been used. Urban should be able to hit a scan very shortly here. 5 more seconds. As now they're going to go for the peaks and almost gets that spray down. There is Resulta down. Chaotic, the only one up for G2. That's G2 going down in 12th place.
And somehow, someway, TSM gets to reset here. So unfortunate for G2. The thirst does happen onto Reps, which means Atlanta Premier shifted focus over here. But that was such a great opportunity to see exactly what Chaotic was bringing to the table. Very rarely do you see TSM go down like that. Unfortunate for them that they got third party, but that's what Atlanta Premier's been doing so well. The timing's been spot on. Lou gets dropped by Gilderson's car, and Intel looking like they want to go in third party this.
Yeah, NRG though ends up cleaning up Sentinels now, and Intel are still looking for an opportunity, but again, the exhibit is up, so it's going to be difficult to try and find that opening for themselves. Good coverage out from Nathan as he covers that retreat for Sweet, keeping him alive. And they're just going to go ahead and call it here. They pick up the kill points. I imagine they picked up some of the loot, so they just back away off of this one. NRG playing this one extremely well, extremely disciplined, not getting overextended because, yeah, they have to clear out their back. You can see Sweet doing a great job of just covering that choke. See if anyone's coming that way. Nathan now popping an ultimate excel. So maybe when they get another singularity up, or if they get another exhibit, they'll try and reapproach this fight. We do finally get to talk about the ring, and it's going to go ahead and pull in between Mill and the downed Beast. We do have a number of teams there. Tyson, along with Mike and Ike. And it looks like Nerf and Rack Attack set up for the late game.
Is that TSM in a... Alright, I was going to say, they are going for a rotation in the middle of everybody. Absolute madness. I can't believe they were able to get away with that one. Hal looks like he's going to toss the ultimate down, but they are not going to get away for much longer. They go out in 10th place. Complexity, they've been waiting for that opportunity for quite some time. AP with the flank coming around for potential third party realizes, wait, all of a sudden these guys are full of shields. And they're going to have to slow play this one. But after that initial damage, enemy's going to go and continue to push this. He does have the black hole if he wants to go and use that one. Newcastle ultimate is going to go down. But we were watching them play the edge. They relocated extremely quick. And I've been really excited to watch this team play. I mean, we know that they're sitting in the top 5 right now. They have a very interesting play style, but this has been one of those squads that is, in terms of stock rising, definitely invest in Atlanta Premier.
Yeah, I think they were at like 39 points before this game. TSM has gone down, so this is their opportunity to catch up with the rest of the top now. They do have the top of the Mills to play off of here. Another team caught on the rotation. Missile Swarm out from Crook isn't going to quite connect, nor are these flatline shots, but he is at least applying that pressure here just to keep that rooftop available for them. This ring is pulling away, though. It is going up more northwest, and so now you have to start worrying about that one. Like we saw earlier on, 4 teams are already in position for that next zone, so Atlanta Premier still have their work cut out for them. They had Complexity ahead of them on that rotate, but we'll see. They should have plenty of utility to try and deal with this now. Complexity are actually still inside of this Northern Mills building, so there might just be a fight out here.
Difficult zone pull for the teams that were expecting this to continue to go mill. One of the things that we mentioned about Stormpoint is how predictable the zones are. Well, this bounce is fairly unpredictable. I think that a majority of this lobby assumed that it was going to go exactly where Complexity was going to be, but it goes on over towards where that respawn area is. Multiple buildings still in, so if you are in those buildings, great job predicting this. But now the teams are going to have to deal with one another. AP's in the vicinity, Complexity's there as well. Nice damage onto Luxford. It gets answered right back, though. And it's just a matter of, will there be a third party? This fight has to take place very quickly.
Yeah, they only have really feasibly like 15 seconds left to try and take this fight before they have to start moving for the zone, because now they have to deal with a backfill of CLG coming up behind them, Intel as well. So half of our remaining lobby actually down here at Mills, making the similar rotation. For CLG, they can still try and skirt this around. They've got, yeah, the rock to play off of and try to make their way in from there, eat a little bit of the zone as Atlanta Premier just full send it onto Complexity, taking them out. That's a clean wipe for them, and so Team Intel do not have an opening for the third party, but they do have the moment to try and go for that skyward dive instead. Will they be able to find a landing, though? That's the big question.
We'll see if these buildings are open. I mean, we saw the amount of teams that were outside. This last building could be in. They're not getting any scans. They're trying to go for a coexistence underneath. That is a little bit greedy. You never really knew if that other building was free or not, and I believe it was. Nerf's been sitting in here for quite some time. That's the moment they've been waiting for. Rambo's going to drop. Tough rotation for Intel, but really would have loved to see if they could went into that other building. It seemed to be free again. When you get that caster point of view, you could see the player outlines, etc. But a risky call that didn't work out for them.
Ooh, Mike and I getting pushed now. MJ and Mark extremely low, but that castle wall keeps that blocked off, and no one really wants to try and eat that one away with the regular ammo, and so that will allow them to reset. But CLG, oh no, they are just caught up in the smoke right now, and it's going to be Nerf knocking them out. We're now down to 6 squads, 6 full squads at that, until Bowser gets the knock onto AP and finishes off that thirst. Nathan up top gets one more onto AP. That's enemy going down. But throughout all that, Mike and I fight back, taking out one on the NRG squad. They're going to try and go for that res, but Nathan needs to cover this angle just in case. Luckily for them, the castle wall is there, and they can't find the peaks quite yet. They actually grief their own wall to try and go for that thirst, but Gilderson still gets up. They have a nice little gravity lift there to cover off that door to make sure no one can push out. We got another fight taking place, the Rack Attack versus Team Tyson on the hillside, as now NRG are full up and ready to push. MJ goes down, but his body is blocking that door from them. We have that Seer Q out, but NRG are just fighting back into this one, securing that thirst as the flank came out, but Nathan was ready to swat that one down. The Thermite covering that door as they now push forward. NRG looking to finish off Mike and Ike. That's Wizard Coin falling, and now there's only one remaining. Sweet needs to stay up, and he will just in time. The other fight, Rack Attack, it's just one remaining here as Atlanta Premier are down to a duo. We are now down to 5 squads remaining, and it might be 4 as enemy will go down.
Oxiers with the shots, connecting with the wingman there. Is he going to be able to stay alive and get the res? That would be absolutely insane. I mean, zone's closing right now. He'd have to absolutely pop it immediately, but do you feel like Nerf would shift focus over there? You have NRG in the area. Rack Attack is still there. 2 rats and NRG versus Nerf. So 2 teams that have been playing pretty solid today. It's going to be explosive when this goes down.
Oh boy, this time it's gonna be Sweet with the bow check bow, and he's getting these connects, but not unfortunately able to get that last kill. It's gonna be Petty Boss taking out Oxy Aries, bringing us down to our final 3 teams. And is that 3v3v1? Petty Boss gets tagged twice to the head. 1 shot remaining here. They want to try and push, but turns, ends up getting on top of Nathan and ends up taking him down. What a huge play. We'll see if he can try and get a little bit more for himself there. Petty Boss surviving now. It's down to a 3v2v1. Rack Attack is out, and now Nerf, they know they've got the advantage in this 3v2. We should have the exhibit. There's the gravity lift to take the high ground. Gilderson's forced down low as Petty Boss turns and Forsey are all up there looking for this final fight, finding the angle in just a moment. Gilderson's trying his best to heal up. Petty Boss pushes on his own, bringing this down to a 3v2, but here's Forsey now, out with the Volt, ends up going down, turns, needs to clutch this one up, and he does. Team Nerf with a narrow team fight win, but they do get it and secure the dub in game number 5.
So many different outcomes that could have happened right there, but you saw what happens when the solo pushes a little bit. That stops the res from going. Ridiculous game number 1 and have kind of slowed down after that. So we'll see how game number 6 goes. This is going to be an absolutely explosive finish.
Yeah, it's been a really bad average for TSM. They had about 31 points after game number 1, 16, so they're averaging 4 points per game across the last 4 games. So definitely have been slowed down a lot. Now they'll have one last opportunity to try and clutch up But again, with how NRG and CLG are playing, along with the consistency out of Atlanta Premier. By the way, champions of Nerd Street Gaming's, I believe, LAN that took place this weekend as well. So they're looking to cash in once more. But here we go, heading into Storm Point, heading into into Apex Legends for the final time today. It's game number 6. We have 5 teams in the running trying to get their share of the $2,000 prize.
And Nerf is the only team to win 2 games, multiple games so far. One on World's Edge, one on Storm Point. They've been playing methodical throughout the night. A lot of different legends that you have to deal with, but they're sticking with what they know is successful for them. And again, Turns has played so many different legends throughout his career. The black hole that he shot out earlier when we had that Mobile One high performance moment helped secure that dub when they were going up against Atlanta Premier. And if you wonder, like, if they don't win that game and Atlanta Premier wins that game, that's a 6-point difference between that alone. There goes 50-50 happening for Sentinels. It's going to be a death hammer melee.
Oh,
you don't see that every day.
He breathes that one into with that finisher. Gets his armor up at least. There's some utility in doing that other than just the BM. But now Excedrin, they've got to be worried. Xenox is already on the flank here. On the left-hand side, he's got that Arc Star out for Sentinels, and they at least try and recover some sort of pride after the performance so far today. They really haven't been able to get much going at all. Backing away, playing this one extremely safe, even bubbling to go for that 2-man peak. And they're still trying to hunt him down. There it is, the Valkyrie left on his ones. There we go. They're back off. Lou is down. This is way too close. Sentinels, come on.
This is tough, though. I mean, the thing is we're in a skirmish type of situation, and this team isn't really a skirmish team. Sentinels is, but that composition necessarily isn't. ESA and Oxygen both getting dropped. Tough situation to be in right there as Raktex can come in with the cleanup. ASR now looking like they're fighting over towards the down beast. And great shots there from Elbrily, but Reptar's already down. Slurpee going with the res right there. Looks like a smart play to thirst that player, but it's just a little bait to try to get them back up on over towards the head glitch so you could lay down some extra damage. Slurpee needs to heal though, so they have to be fairly careful here as Mike and Ike has the major armor advantage.
Yeah, they were able to recover. They should be able to slow heal and just kind of take their time with this one. It does seem like the ring is pulling once again up to the northwest side. We'll see if it continues to pull up here towards the down beast. It might go a little bit further north to it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up basically ending at the legs, essentially, of the down beast down there by the towers. Right now, though, Mike and Ike are not going to chase after this one. They do have that beacon to play after. ASR are able to play underneath for the time being as we get a better look at this ring, and this one is going to be a north pad one. Sentinels, we'll see if they can finish off the rest of Excedrin and maybe try and play off that beacon building.
It's taking a while though. Kimchi Lee putting up a fight. You can see the shots are being laid down. All of Sentinels looks fairly healthy, but this is the last game, and you don't really want to play as a duo. Yes, you do have Cruisen's banner, but you're hoping that you can go over there and try to get Kodagami's. You're also laying down all of this extra fire, so you potentially make noise and a third party comes, but we have the luxury of being able to see those player outlines, and Grief City, Bursty busting out the Revenant. Look out.
This is almost all the simulacrums, right? You have Ash along with the Revenant there. I don't know if there isn't a third one, right? Pathfinder doesn't quite count as it. I think he's just a robot, right? I don't know exactly what the lore is.
Yeah, he's a robot.
For Apex Legends, but it's almost there. I mean, Bloodhound does have kind of cybernetics, right? He's got the scan and all that, or they have the scan and all that, but G2 now looking for the fight. You see Designful does have his trusted wingman at the ready. Even though he's scanned, he is still just holding the angle now, and he's going to have to continue to hold it as Chaotic needs some time to heal up. There's only the Phoenix Kid here, and Chaotic needs that more than him. Doesn't look like he's going to hand it off to him, so Chaotic is just struggling now as you've got that Ash coming in for the flank. Resulta gets the knock onto Borton, and so they don't have time to try and find the death protection, the death totem to put that one up. And here comes the third party, it seems like, out from Atlanta Premier. G2 need a response to this one.
Yeah, Atlanta Premier has been so smart the way that they've gone about these fights. They come in at the last second and look like they're trying to get multiple kills from each team, which would be huge considering that they're in the running for first place. The push coming in from enemy. You know that they were fairly weak on the opposite side. They haven't had a chance to heal either because the Seer Q is going to go down, and you can see the teamwork coming through. Enemy waits for his teammates to go in front of him. He hits a cell along the way. Then the flank, and the teamwork just so good. Now Chaotic's the last person, second person to drop, and it's up to Resulta. He's not going to be able to do anything. The timing, the execution, but now C9 is here for the fourth party.
Oh boy, C9. Ooh, they're right on top of them. They do have that exhibit down, or no, they should, at the very least. As Naughty continues to try and chase after them. Armor Swap, it seems like, out, but Zach Mazer will find that angle onto Crook, taking him out. Is now down to a 3v2 as Naughty is trying his best to survive, getting that back cancel, unfortunately. Now the Arc Star in, he is forced to just try and challenge this one, stands his ground, and does enough damage to at least get the trade, so C9 will be able to walk away with that victory. Atlanta Premier are knocked out. How unfortunate. CLG on the verge of getting knocked out as well. And these are so many of our top 5 teams going down so early here.
So keep an eye on TSM, NRG, and Nerf. Those are the squads still in the running after 2 of our top 5 teams are either out or in complete shambles. What an interesting start. Typically, you see those teams play very, very safe. As Bowser gets it canceled, his Q canceled, so he's not able to get back on over towards where Rakinishu is. And Mike and I trying to capitalize on that. The long-range snipe with the BK. All right, I see you, Wizard Coin.
Yeah, they finally give up that position on top of the down beast and try to play a little bit more aggressive here. They do have the armors to back that one up as well. Wizard Coin, nice one headshot really to get himself that purple, or he could just pick one up off the ground. Now they will try and chase after this Gibraltar. The bubble has been used. You don't overextend for this one. So Mike and Ike realizing maybe they have to play a little bit more for center zone here. Again, this was a squad that had an amazing night last night. They ended up coming in second place to CLG. They haven't been able to get much going here at all. Renegades, though, fighting over a building inside of North Pad. My big question is, which teams now have made their way here early on for that center zone?
And final games, typically, if you're new to watching, Series Z, they go fairly quickly. And this happens even, in any type of Apex tournament because the teams look at the math, they understand the situation, and say, hey, we either have to play very slow or put up an absolute monster game, and a majority of the teams, 15 teams here, need a monster game if they want to win. So expect a lot of fighting taking place, and then all of a sudden, once you get into that top 5 area, things are going to slow down immensely. Sentinels with the longbow there, nice shots from Lou. They've been in a power position ever since the beginning when they took that 50-50. C9 also on the run. Nice shots there from Naughty to try to keep Rocker alive. Rocker is the one with the gold knockdown shield too, so he's the one that's going to be able to, you want him to be the one that gets the resist for the team, so he cannot afford to go down.
Yeah, they do back away to heal up at the very least, but they're still playing uphill, unfortunately, and continuing to give up more and more ground as they back away. There's an opportunity to just go ahead and hit the car and get out of there with a Trident now. They don't have the Gibraltar, but it's fine because, of course, the Trident does spread out that damage. So it's going to be much easier now as they go ahead and just get out of that bad spot. And really good call coming out from Sentinel, coming out from Cloud9. Sentinels, though, might get pushed here. They are facing off. It looks like a full 3v3 on either side. A Watson composition there. Do have the bubble down early along with the Nox gas grenade. Barrels coming in, and doesn't seem like the interception pylon is there as Sentinels are sneaking in this nades. Big crack with that frag grenade. Now they need to get the knock. Unfortunately, though, they haven't followed up on this damage quite yet. Now pushing forward, there is the first knock onto Renegades. POW going down. And Sentinels regrouping as the full 3. We'll see. They should at least be able to secure this thirst. I don't know if they can finish off this fight, though, as they actually recover that body and get him behind that door.
I'm surprised to see Lou play this one a little bit passive in terms of not using his ultimate, because what do you really need it for at this point? You could just chuck it and then force people to, maybe scatter and force themselves inside or make some sort of weird play. I mean, I know that you're most likely not going to get any connects on that one, but I thought possibly he was going to use that. Either way, great job from Sentinels. Lou with the nade was such big damage, and then they came through, tried to avoid the Seer ultimate, and then avoid the thermite. All of a sudden, boom, knock, flush, and they're looking good. Alt Excel being popped here from Crust, but he has 2 barrels that he could use, potentially 3 popping up here very shortly. Expect him to toss them and cut off some more angles.
Yeah, the doors have not been griefed, so he can just go ahead and lock that one up once he gets them down. But you can see there's so many doors. He has to prioritize specific ones, and that's going to be interesting to see which ones exactly he wants to hold down. But at the very least, they have dealt with a threat in a way. They haven't finished off the squad quite yet, but they alleviate a lot of that pressure at the very least. On board with Cloud9 now, who are starting to make their way up to that north pad area. They've got to bubble down on a Gibraltar. They want to get aggressive off of it. They've already hit the scan. Beast of the Hunt has been used as well. Rocker tries to stand his ground and almost gets punished for that one. But it looks like in the race for that kill, it's going to be Razor picking up that knock onto one member. NRG, though, now also rotating through. It looks like they're trying to just find some fights as they sled on down. They do have Sweet and Nathan ready. It looks like an ultimate Excel getting popped for Nathan. They are poised for this fight.
Renegades going out in 14th is NRG, TSM, and Nerf, the teams to watch currently all fighting for that first place. Separated by just a couple of different decisions over here. Guild's got to be careful. I mean, he's got 8 cells at this point, 7 after he uses this one. But we have a long way to go, Jamerson, so this is where the interesting spot is, where if you start to run low on resources, you're going to be forced in a situation where you have to turtle or full send, and I don't think NRG is a turtling team.
Yeah, this is round 3. 13 squads remaining. It could be, I believe, 1 squad ratting this one out currently. So that probably accounts for the lost 2 players there. For NRG, though, like you said, they have to be a little bit careful about their resources, but if they take a team fight win here on the edges, that's all they need to top off and then basically play for the end game. Already picking up a few kill points in the early game. Could look for a little bit more. They don't have to really risk things, but they don't know who's in and who's out right now because of anonymous mode. So they are still playing this one fairly cautiously. It looks like they will play the coastline for this ring, making their way on up, and they're able to take this nice little pit stop. Hey, you've even got the castle wall along with these death boxes. So we were saying maybe they need more resources. This is definitely going to work out for them.
So to clarify that, though, I think when the anonymous mode, Jamerson, when a team does get eliminated, it shows their team name in there. So they should have a feeling which teams have been eliminated, but they don't know a team like, for example, CLG, I think, still has, maybe 1 or 2 members left on it that could be ratting it out. But the first team that was eliminated, I believe they knew who that is. CLG was able to recover, surprisingly. I have no idea. Maybe it was Mamba, and as soon as the caster curse is in full effect right now. I'm sorry, CLG.
Yeah, Smokes down and Excedrin now are going to try and force the issue here. We do have the Singularity coming on in for Excedrin. I don't know if they caught anyone with that, but the Arcstars will go ahead and get tossed in. Kimchi Lee needs to take the time to reload here. They don't catch anyone. So it's just going to be that thirst onto Mamba. And then they'll be able to top off with these heals. But they need to start getting in, and this is going to be an extremely hard gatekeep. You can see C9 already in position for that one now. Beast of the Hunt has been popped, and they find one on that scan. Zach Mazer as well is hunting him down. Now it's the final stand here. Demi going down. CLG down to 1 remaining member.
They've been down to 1 member before. Let's see if they can pull it out again. Not the ideal situation for a team that's played so well today. It's going to be Nano, and typically you want Mamba in this situation so he can recover the banners and get the free res with the drone. Excedrin playing this one out as a duo. They've been doing pretty well so far, but they wish they had Kodagami at this point, who had fantastic shots today. There's the knock onto Naughty. Round 3 is going to eat you alive, though. Cruisin getting the armor swap, but he doesn't have much HP overall, and now they have to cross this entire open field. Holy! Oh, I thought that was a purple armor. It was just a knockdown. I almost lost it.
Oh, man, that would have been great, but they at least secure the thirst on to Cloud9 as Kimchi Lee falls. Cruisin is the only one up now. For Team Intel, fighting out of checkpoint currently. Beast in the Hunt is popped for Rambo. And they get the knock onto Reps. TSM on the verge of getting knocked out here. With only 1 placement point, really. But the fight is still coming out as they get 1 to knock. Pushing forward. And Icy will fall as Rambo chases after Verholz, bringing him down. And Nerf is here for the gatekeep. TSM haven't gone out quite yet, but there they go. Down in 10th place.
Wow.
Now Nerf controlling the south side. They have so many death boxes to play off of.
So the 2 teams to watch out for right now, NRG and Nerf. CLG was ratting it out. I'm not quite sure how far they're going to get because these 2 teams are in it to win it right now. NRG with a decent spot over towards this high ground. Nathan has been connecting so well with this flat line. 2x definitely a strong scope there overall. And the nice flank right there onto Sang. Oh man, clean fight there from NRG, but they do lose all in one. And look at who's trying to capitalize. It's Nerf.
Yeah, Nerf trying to push forward, but they don't want to overextend here. We're only at top 8. So the placement points aren't even that high, but yeah, Petty Boss wants to send it. I love the new aggression that's come out from Petty Boss in the last, like, 6 months. It's been so refreshing to see right now as Team Nerf looks like they're still stopping the res so far. Horsey doesn't have his Q quite yet. The exhibit is there. They secure that thirst, and there's a knock onto Sweet. Now it's down to just one final member of NRG. Nerf go ahead and push the advantage. One more player remaining. The exhibit can be used just to try and hunt him down, but it doesn't even seem necessary as he's caught out in the open and backs away. He lives, but now he needs to try and rat this one out as a solo with almost no opportunity whatsoever to recover those banners and get him back in. NRG are out.
Now they know that that was energy that they ended up pushing, and that has to feel good. That aggression from Petty Boss that you mentioned, Jamerson, really opened things up. You kind of sensed watching Turns and Force that they weren't interested in pushing that. Petty Boss was not playing around. He entered with complete confidence. That's what you were looking for. I may think that there is a member from CLG still alive, so if he could rat it out and do something phenomenal, that could end up working. But I'm not quite sure, so we'll have to get clarification on that. But now they're going to take over towards the skies, try to find a spot, and they may need to secure a couple more points. I'm not quite sure exactly where they stood on the overall leaderboard. It is questionable, though, and Lou shutting things down with the bow check bow.
We have a full setup. Watson Newcastle down here, though. And, oh boy, Forty doesn't like what he sees whatsoever. He tanked one of the fences there. Z Davis ends up getting the knock onto Turns, and now Nerf are out. We're down to our final 6 squads, but we know that a number of them are still damaged. For Team Tyson, though, they're set up in such a beautiful spot there inside of the tunnels with the Watson traps, with the Newcastle walls, but it doesn't matter. The ring pulls away from almost all of our teams. I believe one squad is in position, though, to make that priority rotate.
How much of the zone is in the water? If you don't have a boat, you'd be absolutely done for. Nano has ratted it out the entire time.
Huge.
Could this be the winning play for CLG? This is where I'm glad that I'm not an admin, okay? Doing the math in this type of situation, it's going to come down to a point or two or even a tiebreaker.
Oh boy, and he's just hoping that there's no Sears looking in his direction right now. And luckily for him, I don't believe, Sentinels have that.
I don't think Sentinels has one.
Yeah, they're the closest one to him. And it seems like maybe everyone else is actually out of range for that, so they don't know he's behind them. The double time might help out in trying to make it into zone. You can see Sentinels going for the timing push. They hear them running away from all these traps, and they try to find the timing there, but the traps are slowing them down. And so Team Tyson trying to get that advantage, trying to get the priority on the rotate, but Blue is pushing out all that damage now. Arcstar in, chasing after them. Nox gas grenade has been tossed in as well. Don't get the critical knocks quite yet. Crust, though, is on the front lines, charging forward with that shield actually being used on the other side, and they're about to get a knock in just a moment. Bat out, it looks like, from Joey Blackout, but the flank, the pinch out as Sentinels back away, noting that the third party is there, and that's going to be ASR coming in with the flank to take out Tyson. But good job by Sentinels there for immediately responding to the third party.
And I believe Nano still lives, too. Yeah, there's one rat still remaining, and it's 1,000% him. Slowly but surely, creepy crawling his way on over towards the zone. I wouldn't even count him out, man. He could still do some crazy stuff on this Bangalore. And without that many scan legends, if any scan legends, this is going to be huge for Nano.
Yeah, very few teams are going to be able to really respond to if a Rolling Thunder comes down. Except for the lone Gibraltar here, so we'll see. Maybe you can play around the shield wall, the castle wall, but it looks like CLG were spotted out. Slurpee G from ASR takes him out. So now we're down to Complexity, ASR, and Sentinels. It's been a pretty rough day for Sentinels, but hey, they're about to finish it off with at least a top 3 here. Now you can see Complexity trying to position here on the outer edge. This is a little bit difficult for them because they are the first team basically on the outside that they have to push up with. Complexity are trying to build some space with Muffins right now. pushing forward for themselves. You can see one more in the back row there. They're just trying to keep them contained. Sentinels now, though. We've got the armor swaps to play off of just in case as they move forward now. ASR, we're trying to keep an angle on them, but got another 25 seconds before the zone even starts closing in, forcing Sentinels out.
We mentioned this earlier too, is that these teams are teams that have actually struggled today. Yes, ASR got a win, but without that win, they really wouldn't have many points. And Sentinels has had a very, very tough day. But this is what makes these teams pros and these players pros. They don't give up. They want to prove themselves. They know what they're capable of. And it's honestly not surprising to me to see them step it up in this final game because they don't want to leave Series E tonight with a bad taste in their mouth. They want to end it on a dub.
They're actually expending a lot to try and get rid of the Newcastle walls on the other side, but still has about 5 mags behind them. Final ring closing in. The exhibit has gone down a little bit early there, but understandably so. They don't know exactly the teams are playing off of, but they do know now that Sentinels are going to be inside of that tunnel. ASR trying to play around the head glitch angles. They have a little bit of cover to kind of push forward with, and it's all about waiting out the first team to kind of push out first. It might be ASR and Sentinels at the same time. We'll see. Complexity do have that cross angle set up now. It's the final minute and 20 seconds. You can see how desperately ASR are trying to slow things down. Castle wall forward, but they're getting focused down.
Yeah, well, the castle wall is there, but he needs to put his Q down, too. I'm surprised that he hasn't done that yet. That is a little bit too late. I'm not quite sure why he didn't cut off the right-hand side. You could always move it, and now the damage is coming through, and that is a tough break. I mean, there was a lot of different options right there, but when you're the first team to rotate, it's absolutely tough. And Complexity now versus Sentinels for the final fight. It's a very close one, too, and looking like it's going to come down to a 1v1. Alba really somehow stayed alive throughout all this.
And he actually secures the win. ASR turtle up. Both teams just kind of turned onto each other. It seemed like they had an agreement to try and grief ASR. You saw the missile storm. You saw the defensive bombardment going down on top of them. But for the simple fact that they had to run into each other, ASR were able to kind of pull back for that one and fight back on in. So that's going to be a nice win to finish off the day for